Well, I can answer that for the President. It's for him.
I'd rather have him answer.
Yeah, I'd rather answer that. It will be.
My President will respond to you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mr. President.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us on the quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me.
Influence, move with a practiced grin, shaking hands with the lights that dim. The White House walls heard his claim to fame, but the shadows whispered a different name. Oh, Ramaphosa, what's the cost? Truth uncovered, bridges crossed. You played the game but lost your way. Now the world sees the price you pay. Pretending blind to the cries at home, while the streets of SA ache and moan. Right, the man with the golden hue, but the deal fell flat and the lies broke through. Oh, Ramaphosa, what's the cost? Truth uncovered, bridges crossed. You played the game but lost your way. Now the world sees the price you pay. Closed doors, the mask came off. No suits, no ties, just shadows aloft. The past screams loud from the buried ground. Now the silence breaks with a deafening sound. Oh, Ramaphosa, what's the cost? Truth uncovered, bridges crossed. You played the game but lost your way. Now the world sees the price you pay. Oh, Ramaphosa, what's the cost? Truth uncovered, bridges crossed. The horrors rise from a nation torn. Whispers turn to cries of scorn. History's weight won't stay concealed. Every wound must one day heal. Oh, Ramaphosa, what's the cost? Truth uncovered, bridges crossed. You played the game but lost your way. Now the world sees the price you pay. Oh, Ramaphosa, what's the cost? Truth uncovered, bridges crossed. You pay.
And they're doing precisely what we said we as South Africans should not do. We should stop running to other countries. We should discuss our own problems here.
A land of gold sunsets and skies so blue. Mountains whisper stories of dreams so true. From oceans roaring wild to valleys deep, a heartbeat of a nation that will not sleep. Save South Africa, rise above the storm. Hands together strong, a new world is born. Beauty in our hearts, let it light the way. Evil cannot reign when we seize the day. The people sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The soil holds our history, roots run so long. A melody of freedom, we're singing strong. They may curse the land with lies they can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The people sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The people sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The soil holds our history, roots run so long. A melody of freedom, we're singing strong. They may curse the land with lies, they weave, they weave. But we hold the truth in what we believe. Their crowns may crumble, their thrones may fall. For the power is the people above it all. We know it all.
Marvin Devine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Welcome back, folks. It is Tuesday, July 15th, 2025. It's a pleasure to have you join me once again here on the program, the Indaba African Network, live from central Pennsylvania, where we're going to give you your daily dose, your daily injection, your daily jab against fake news, hyperbole, hypocrisy, outright rank racism, bigotry. Just the news, just the analysis, just the truth, right here. Welcome back to the program, ladies and gentlemen. To all the Neanderthals, the canines, any right-wing podcasters out there, and all the aspiring car guards, welcome back to the program. Welcome back to the program. Well, things are looking grim. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the ANC bus go falling off, falling off, falling off. Whoa. Things are looking ugly in South Africa, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready for the impending collapse. I don't predict these sort of things, but the Rand is in trouble. It will be in trouble. Chris is not 8 minutes late, Steve Newbold. Chris is exactly on time. I started at 12:15 on the nose when I scheduled the stream for. Stop spreading fake news. Stop spreading fake news. Yes, the wheels on the bus are coming off. The ANC bus is coming off. Years of outright gaslighting and lying to the South African public is being exposed. The inconsistency in the discipline within the African National Congress, the so-called bogus step-aside rule, ignored for convenience. One top official after another in this gangster organization masquerading as a political party in South Africa, robbing South Africans blind, impoverishing them, dividing them by race. It's unbelievable. We Afrikaners are coming to start a new football team, the Stormers 2.0. You mean over here? Well, you can join Major League Rugby if you have the resources. Thank you for the 50 Rand super chat, Justin Cameron. So, all right, hang on. Excuse me. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Yes, there's an elephant in the room, and that is Cyril Ramaphosa and the ANC's lies about Nkabisi Jonas. Ladies and gentlemen, what have I talked about consistently while South African media keep talking and prattling on, and your agriculture minister and members of the ANC government keep prattling on about AGOA? We can save AGOA, AGOA, AGOA. I've told you AGOA is gone. I've also warned you that South Africa's refusal to legitimately engage the United States in discussions since April when the reciprocal tariffs were imposed. But instead, the South African media and South African politicians lying to you, saying that Trump is targeting South Africa. He's raising the stakes. He's being combative with something. No. This is the entire world. But you sought to be the victim. You sought to play victimization, victim politics, the ANC. And as a consequence, you think you can sit back and do nothing and it's all going to go better. It's not. Do you honestly think you can play chicken with Donald Trump? Game's up. So what have I been telling you since this began? I've been telling you that since early April 3rd, when the South African government heard about the initial tariffs of 31% on South Africa, they've taken virtually no action. No ambassador, Ibrahim Rasool, after his racist comments, was persona non grata out of the United States in an unprecedented, well, not unprecedented, but a rare move. Nkabisi Jonas was later named as a special envoy. Thank you for the 14 Rand, happy slappy. He was later announced as a special envoy, but then shortly afterwards, racist or insulting comments by Jonas were made public. My analysis at the time was that those comments were made in private, and that he could say that he's changed his opinion since then because he made some public statements that were less caustic. But apparently in May, when they submitted his request for a diplomatic visa, it was rejected by the State Department. Rejected. No diplomatic visa. And his credentials were presented. They were also rejected by the U.S. government for the same reason. You know, after slapping us in the face by sending us someone who apparently, in his own words, appears to be an avowed racist, and then you want to send us someone else who makes insulting comments about America. And so he was rejected in May. Since May, the South African government has repeatedly told us that Impending Jonas is the special envoy to the United States. They later amended that language, trying to paper over it, saying he was the special envoy for North America, as if Canada and Mexico were even talking to him. He went to London on a trip. He's yet to come to America. To my knowledge, he's never engaged with U.S. officials, and now we know why. The Democratic Alliance has revealed today that Impending Jonas was rejected, his visa denied, and his credentials rejected by the United States Department of State in May. May, June, July, 3 months, as much as 3 months ago. And for 3 months, Vincent Mangwenya, the spokesman in the presidency, Cyril Ramaphosa, and the South African government and South African media have been lying to you and the entire world. They've been lying to you, telling you they had a special representative that was repairing relations with the United States when no one in the United States is not even talking to the guy. Not even talking to the guy. They're gaslighting you. No ambassador, no special envoy. And time and again, I'm proven correct. And here it is again. I said this guy is not in America. He's not engaging. No ambassador, no special envoy, no trade representative in Washington, no trade delegation in Washington. April 3rd, May, June, July 3rd. We're almost at August 3rd, nearly 4 months. 2 attempts, to our knowledge, to negotiate a trade bilateral agreement with the United States. Ridiculous. Japan, Korea, the UK were here immediately, and Japan and Korea don't have an agreement. UK does after 3 months. And South Africa, who made one attempt going there in May and insulting President Trump, interrupting him rudely when Annika Larson said, well, I have a question for you, Mr. President. What will it take for President Ramaphosa to convince you that there is no white genocide in South Africa? Trump, ready to answer the question, was interrupted rudely by his guest, Cyril Ramaphosa. Ramaphosa said, I'll take this question. And Trump's like, hey, have at it, Rocco. You want to answer it? So Ramaphosa says, it will take the president listening to South Africans, listening to the voices of South Africans to convince him that there's no white genocide. Really? It's not buffering here, Mark. It's the South Africa thing. Really? So he lectured the president of the United States. No ambassador, no special envoy, no trade representative, no trade delegation, one trip in May, nothing came of it. They lied. They said they had an agreement. Now the South African government is denying what Corne Mulder has announced publicly. The South African government is denying. If the U.S. government gave those preconditions to the South African government, then they need to come clean now, because the South African government is denying that Corne Mulder's list of preconditions for improved relations with the United States is real. They're claiming they were never received these. They never got those from the U.S. government. That's what they're claiming. If that's the case, then it's now the time for the United States government to step out of the shadows and tell the world when they gave those demands to, or those preconditions to, the South African government. Was it in May, on the 21st, at that meeting in the Oval Office behind closed doors when Ramaphosa clearly got a PK? Or has it been since then? But Dr. Mulder, I have no reason to doubt him, said that in D.C., the White House officials gave them a list of 4 preconditions in exasperation because they said they had previously communicated these to the government of South Africa and they've taken no action. Wow. Wow. So that's the situation. Your government lies to you every single day if you're a South African. Every single day. They act with impunity. They act with impunity. So, Impending Jonas is not a special envoy to the United States. He has no credentials. He's not been accepted by the United States. He's never been to the United States as a special envoy. And Cyril Ramaphosa and Vincent Mangwenya have been lying to you according to the Democratic Alliance. And when the Democratic Alliance asked questions about this, they were told to stop interfering in the business of the presidency. That's what they were told. Yeah, can you believe that? That's what they were told. Sorry, I'm trying to find my... Yeah, here it is. That's not it. My folder's gone somewhere. Cannot find my statement here. Sorry, folks. Anyway, yeah, I had a quote here. I was going to use it from Vincent Manguena, but I cannot find it. Let me see if it's here on my screen. Just a second. No, that's not it. Wow. Where did it go? So too many text messages open here. Nope. That's Bidvest. I was working on a Bidvest video. Anyway, I can't find it, so it's not particularly important. Anyway, thank you. There's another super chat from Joe Cruiser. Thank you for that. Yeah, so that's the situation. Your government is lying to you every single day. Every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, the tariffs are coming. We've already seen the collapse coming in the automobile industry in South Africa. 87% decline year over year for motor vehicles shipped from South Africa, United States. And the only ones being shipped apparently are Mercedes C-Class and just a handful of those. Down from 9,700 vehicles shipped to the United States this quarter last year to just 1,100. And that's with a 25% tariff that's global. So every country in the world now has a 25% tariff. So that's made those cars 25% more expensive in America than they were previously. In addition to that, they're competing against on a level playing field with Japanese, Korean, and European cars, and they can't compete. Without the special AGOA duty-free advantage, South Africa is uncompetitive when it comes to the automotive market, when it comes to agriculture, when it comes to wine. People will buy Chilean wine, people will buy German wine, people will buy Italian wine or California wine before they'll buy South African. And don't listen to the propaganda from South African vintners and South African industry telling you that our wines are special, the Americans love them, and they'll do anything to buy them. No, that's not the case. That's not the case. Wow. Wow. So, folks, in honor of this whole story, this just reminds me of Ibrahim Rasool. And, frankly, we should just go back to the Ibrahim Rasool story and just take a look at that because, quite frankly, this is a pretty unfortunate situation that South Africa finds itself in with a government it cannot trust. More demonstrations today, small, but demonstrations against Ramaphosa and in favor of Mkhwanazi supporting him. It's getting a little bit out of control in South Africa. How much longer can Ramaphosa hang on? How much longer can he hold on? And, this is a song we put together. When did I put this thing together? Back in April or May? Persona non grata. This was for Ibrahim Rasool. That's the wrong one. There we go. The roulette wheel spinning around.
In the heart of shadows where headlines grow, a name engraved in whispers and undertow. Ambassador, no title, seems so stark. Persona non grata written in the dark. Oh, the ties that thread and tangle tight. Diplomatic dances in the cold moonlight. A step misplaced and the stage does sway. Persona non grata carried far away. Pages turn but bridges burn so fast. A name in embers solemnly cast. In halls of power, silent decree. Echoes in whispers across the sea. Oh, the ties that tangle tight. Diplomatic dances in the cold moonlight. A step misplaced and the stage does sway. Persona non grata carried far away.
South Africa's government's lying to its citizens.
When walls talk back and windows cry, boundaries drawn under heavy skies. In the space between the set and scene lies a story that cuts unclean.
Kabisi Jonas is not the special envoy. More lies.
Ties that thread and tangle tight. Diplomatic dances in the cold moonlight. A step misplaced and the stage does sway. Persona non grata carry far away.
More lies, more subterfuge, leading South Africa into the abyss. The anchor, known as Ramaphosa, dragging down the country on a daily basis. Unchecked lies, untamed power. Lies, lies, and more lies. Persona non grata, that song written and drafted for Ibrahim Rasool, now applicable apparently to Nkabisi Jonas. What a shame, what a shame, what a shame. All right, let's get to the news stories today, folks. This breaking story out of South Africa. The Democratic Alliance claims that, in fact, Nkabisi Jonas, who was never the special envoy for the United States, simply gaslighting by the government of South Africa. Democratic Alliance claims his special envoy was rejected months ago. The Department of National Relations Cooperation said special envoys aren't typical diplomats and do not get accredited, accusing the DA of pushing negative sentiment. I'm sorry, that's factually untrue. Having served in diplomatic corps, having served in dozens of countries, stationed at 8 different embassies across Africa, having worked in embassies in Europe, Middle East, and Africa, I can tell you that that statement is poppycock. It's balderdash. Special envoys do get accreditation from the organizations or the countries whom they're sent to. That is how things work. This is a lie. This is a lie. Now, what they're trying to say is that he is a special representative that covers issues. So apparently he's briefing the government of South Africa. Well, then why did you tell us he was coming to America? You lied. You've been caught in another lie. Caught in another lie. Jonas was named Ramaphosa's special envoy to U.S. after Foreign Ambassador Ibrahim Rasool was booted. Rasool was given marching orders and expelled from the country following an address in which he criticized President Trump. He didn't criticize President Trump. He called President Trump the leader of a global white supremacy movement. What a bunch of insulting garbage. And they called Americans racist. You know, don't recall us calling South Africans racist. Wow. Despite the bubbling controversy, Ramaphosa defended his appointment with Jonas because he was also a 5-year-old video of him calling Trump names popped up. The party claimed the Office of Presidency was made aware that Jonas would not be recognized as South Africa's official representative, but Ramaphosa has said nothing about it to date. In May of 2025, his diplomatic visa and credentials were rejected by the U.S. government. The Ramaphosa administration was explicitly advised on multiple occasions that Jonas was not acceptable to Washington and was urged to appoint an alternate envoy. Despite these clear and repeated communications, the presidency continued to mislead the public by insisting that Jonas remain the president's special envoy to North America, responsible for leading the charge in repairing bilateral relations between our two countries. Interesting that Jonas was not in D.C. Why? Because he didn't have a visa to go there. He didn't have a diplomatic visa, and that's why he wasn't there when Ramaphosa went in May. His absence from Washington at his own request has no bearing on the president's official program. Why in the world would a special representative responsible for informing the president of a country not travel with that president to the country of interest when things are so important, when the stakes are so high? What a load of balderdash that he requested not to go. Can you imagine this? Cyril comes and says, okay, we got to put our team together in Washington. This is really important. We got to make sure we come out of this straight. Okay. So here's the deal. Nkabisi, I need you there. No, Mr. President. I shouldn't go. I have important business to attend to in Shoshaguvwe up in Pretoria. So I've got to go up there. The spot where the crater landed just north of there, the meteorite millions of years ago. I have a special visit up there. I'll have to beg off on this one. What? Wow. The DA said it sought a promotion of access to information, a FOIA request, detailing Jonas's official engagements over the past 90 days, but was met with accusations of encroachment by the president's office. The DA is encroaching on the president's area of responsibility. They have no business in the appointment or work of envoys, including that of Mr. Jonas. Excuse me, Vincent Mangwenya. The DA is part of a governing coalition. Of course they have a say, they have an interest in who gets appointed. You jackasses think you run the country, and you're going to run yourself right out of office. The signs are already coming up, and they're not from whites. They're not from right-wing whites. The signs are coming up all over South Africa. Ramaphosa must fall. Cyril must go. Ramaphosa must fall. Cyril must go. These are black South Africans. And they're not just MK. They're not just EFF. These are ordinary South Africans walking around saying this stuff. You people have destroyed South Africa. You've brought it to third world status single-handedly. Your thieving, your corruption, your lies, your misrepresentations are going to come home. The chickens are coming home to roost for this behavior. How long before the ANC cuts Ramaphosa loose? They cut Thabo Mbeki loose. They cut Jacob Zuma loose. How long before they cut them loose? Wow. Unbelievable, folks. Well, as I said, the DA claims that the Trump administration denied Mpisi his visa and rejected his credentials. The DA spokesman on international relations, Emma Powell, claims the United States denied a special envoy this visa. Wow. Sorry, I had to send something to somebody very important there. Yep. Wow. So, in a statement, Emma Powell said that Ramaphosa had been fully aware for months that Jonas was not welcome. Wow. Emma Powell's the one that said this. There she is right there on Twitter. USA denied Jonas a diplomatic visa and rejected his credentials. Presidency owes South African explanation as to why it doubled down the appointment of special envoy was officially rejected by the recipient government. Well, there you go, folks. There you go. Wow. Wow. Well, the U.S. Treasury Secretary was a no-show at a G20 conference in South Africa. Whoop-de-doo! Apparently, the press in South Africa want to make a big deal about that. We have bigger issues to fry and cook here in America than going to a waste of time talk gathering, a cafe clutch in South Africa for the G20. The G20 is unmanageable. The G7 is all it should have been. Besant a no-show, BRICS tensions set to cast shadow over the Durban G20 meeting. Another no-show by U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. And rising tensions between Washington and BRICS countries look to set to overshadow this week's meeting of the G20 in Durban. Several key officials, including Bessent, skipped February's Cape Town gathering. It's problematic not to have the world's largest economy represent the table, at least at the senior political level. Well, it raises all kinds of questions about the G20's long-term viability. I agree. Also, not having a top official at the table is important. Kind of like when the U.S.-Africa Business Summit, an annual event, took place in Luanda this year, and 14 African states sent heads of state to the meeting because they viewed the relationship with the United States and diplomacy as important for business development. But South Africa, did Cyril Ramaphosa go? No. Did the Deputy President Paul Mashatile go? No. Did the Foreign Minister Ronnie Lamola go? No. Okay, but the Trade Minister, the guy involved in business and trying to increase trade, Parks Tau, he went, right? No. A deputy minister went. Of course, at the same time that this was occurring in Luanda, a deputy minister for the foreign relations, the DIRCO, Director of International Relations Cooperation, under Ronnie Lamola, sent a deputy minister to the Iranian embassy after the United States bombed their nuclear ambitions into oblivion and signed a book of condolences for the terror state of Iran. The South African ministry has never signed a condolence book for the 1,200 plus people butchered, murdered by terrorists from Hamas in Israel on October 7th, 2023. Never done that. In fact, Naledi Pandor made a congratulatory call to the terrorists just days after they murdered all those people and kidnapped over 200 people. Interesting. Interesting where South Africa's government's priorities lie. Hands off our general. Ladies and gentlemen, it's heating up in South Africa. It's getting hot, hot, hot. Me soul on fire, singing hot, hot, hot. Yes. Hands off our general. Durban rallies behind Mkwanazi after the Mkhunu expose. More than 400 people marched in Durban to show solidarity with KZN Police Commissioner Nandla Mkwanazi following his claims of political interference in criminal investigations. Civil society organizations, MK party members, and private security companies also joined the march. Small, but it will grow. Protesters chanted and cheered as they pledged their support for the provincial commissioner and called for an investigation into police leaders. Cyril must go. Durban crowd demands action, not inquiries after Mkwanazi allegations. Hundreds of Durban residents came out in support of KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nandla Mkwanazi for the Hands Off Mkwanazi March. The march started at the Curry's Fountain Sports Development Center to Hoy Park. This follows Mkwanazi's explosive allegations. On Sunday night, Ramaphosa announced that he had placed Mkhunu on leave But the marchers, which include Mkonto Sizwe party members and other organizations, sang and chanted for President Cyril Ramaphosa step down. Panzi ngo Cyril, Panzi, Cyril must go. Wow. For Building Better Communities member Lenzo Pillay, the march was about the truth. Pillay claimed that the nation has been held ransom by criminals for far too long. We've been looted, extorted, mismanaged, raped, and pillaged. There's been no change for the man on the street for the past 30 years. We want Senzo Mkuna to be jailed. We say no to the commission. This is not time to spend public funds. We don't want rate and taxpayers' money spent on commissions that are endless. What are the results from the Zondo Commission? Who is in jail? Cyril and the ANC have lost the plot. It is time they all step down and go to old age homes. It is time for the youth to take over. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, it's getting chippy in South Africa. It's getting chippy in South. And who can imagine who started all this? Donald Trump with a tweet. Donald Trump with a tweet. Oh, the facade that is the ANC is cracking. Ramaphosa has been urged to appoint more people of Mkwanazi's caliber at a Soweto march. Another march. Soweto residents marched to the Kliptown police station to support Lieutenant General Nandla Mkwanazi. They demand the reinstatement of the police political killings task team and investigation into the murders of Soweto ward councillors between 2022 and 2025. Residents urged Ramaphosa not to remove Mkwanazi. My goodness. March convener Maropeng Sarakwana demanded swift arrest for the councillors' murders. Do our police officers in Gauteng have the power to arrest like their colleagues in KZN under Mkwanazi? Mkwanazi claims that parts of the criminal justice system, including the police, the prosecuting authorities, and judiciary, have been captured by drug cartels and business people. Among the high-profile figures implicated are Police Commissioner Senzo Mkuno and Deputy Police Commissioner for Crime Detection, General Shadrach Sibiya, both of whom have denied the allegations. Well, demonstrations and marches in Durban and in Joburg against Cyril Ramaphosa. It's time to go, Joe. Sibiya is now placed on official leave after the allegations. Police Portfolio Committee Chair Ian Cameron flags differences between leave of absence and suspension. Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Detection, Lieutenant General Shadrach Sibiya, has been asked to take a leave of absence after the allegations. Speaking to reporters in KZN, National Police Commissioner Fane Masamola confirmed that he'd been asked to take a leave. He's been served with documents that he asked to take leave while the process is underway. We don't like to discuss details of our departmental process, but he's been asked to stay home while other processes are unfolding. Interesting. Further allegations have implicated the Minister of Police, suggesting the controversial links to figures such as Vusimuzi Kat Mtlatla, who faces serious criminal charges but reportedly remains politically protected while benefiting from lucrative police contracts. Noting the news, Police Portfolio Committee Chairperson Ian Cameron said this is highly irregular, as in policing, leave of absence and suspension mean very different things, and the distinction matters. He said the allegations of misconduct arise. The only lawful options under the regulations are precautionary suspension or temporary transfer. So the law is being broken once again by Ramaphosa. Rather than suspending or transferring the accused, he's letting them take a leave of absence. Once again, the lawless land of Azania. Peter van der Westhuizen, thank you for the 14 rand. The lawless land of Azania. Lieutenant General Shadrach Sibiya placed on administrative leave. There you go. Why isn't he been suspended or transferred? The Gauteng High Court orders Facebook to shut down child porno accounts on Instagram and WhatsApp. Well, that's some good news. The Gauteng High Court on Monday evening ordered Meta to shut down several anonymous Instagram accounts and WhatsApp channels which are distributing explicit child porn depicting South African school children. This is yet to be done by early Tuesday afternoon. Judge Mdwanzi Makamu also ruled that Meta had before noon on Tuesday to furnish the digital law company with all the information in its possession pertaining to the creators of the WhatsApp channels and Instagram profiles. Interesting. Meta has not complied with any of the demands and all the deadlines have passed. Well, the deadline is ridiculous. How do you expect someone to respond within 12 hours when they're on the other side of the world? It's ridiculous. I'm not defending Meta. I'm just saying that's ridiculous. Should have given them a few days to do it. Should have told them to block the accounts immediately. That's fine. And then provide the information within a reasonable amount of time. Standard Bank manager, who's a criminal in an 18 million rand cocaine bust, shares his rags riches story in a jail. Raid Cupido, a bank manager and businessman, faced charges of dealing in drugs and illegal gun and ammunition possession following a major bust at a storage unit in Gardens last month. In his bid for bail, Cupido painted himself as a successful and upstanding citizen who went from financially struggling through university to owning multi-million rand properties in Cape Town's leafy suburbs. He's also no longer alone in the docket. Co-accused Christopher Carlsay was arrested in Kensington on Sunday and faced the same charges. He had it all: a fancy house in the suburbs, international family holidays, and 2 sons in private school. So how was Standard Bank manager of business Raid Cupido cornered in a storage unit in Gardens with 15 1-kilo bricks of cocaine valued at 18 million rand, as well as an AK-47, an Uzi, 5 9mm pistols, and an assortment of ammunition? Because he's a criminal! Apparently. He was mum about the merits of the state's case against him. Wearing a fez and fiddling with a string of prayer beads, listened intently as advocate Ruben Liddell read an affidavit detailing his rags-riches story. Well, he became rich apparently through drug dealing. That appears to be the case. Mpumalanga Premier makes some changes. Mandla Ndlovu acts as 2 MECs and reshuffles the cabinet. Mpumalanga's Premier Mandla Ndlovu has sacked his education MEC Kathy Dlamini and economic development tourism MEC Makozanzanzi Masalela. He reshuffled the cabinet on Tuesday and replaced him with former Speaker of the Provincial Legislature Lindy Leti Masina, and former Ehilanzeni District Mayor Yetsi Zedel took over from Masalela. Just more caters, just more caters, just more caters, shuffling the deck on the Titanic. Well, this is a reason why you should be careful about what you say and don't post falsehoods. And also caveat what you're saying if you can't prove allegations, as I just did a few moments ago. So the News 24 actually is correct in this one, going after people false reporting things. People are now running around claiming that Gwede Mantashe was arrested. I've denied that. There's no evidence of that. There's no proof of that. People a few months ago said that there was an arrest warrant issued by the UK for Julius Malema. I said there's no evidence of that. I said that he was denied a visa. That's true. And there could be an arrest warrant. And maybe that's where this all started. Maybe people watching my channel said maybe there's an arrest warrant. I speculate it's possible, but I never said there was one. And I'm glad I didn't, because now the News 24 is correctly going after people who are spreading misinformation. Post falsely claimed UK issued arrest warrant for Julius Malema. The United Kingdom had refused a visa to radical leftist South African politician Julius Malema 25. Look at they actually say radical leftist politician. That's interesting. In June, social media posts styled as articles claimed that Britain had issued an arrest warrant for the opposition leader, that President Ramaphosa responded to this at a press conference attended by EU delegates. This is false. There was no press conference about any arrest warrant, and both the British High Commission and South Africa's Foreign Ministry have denied these claims. And that's why I said it wasn't true. Yep. Why is this news not headlines, reads a Facebook post published on June 6th in Afrikaans, adding a headline, President Ramaphosa breaks silence. Okay. Malema is known for his controversial stances. Okay, the post, which features the date June 5th, is styled as a news article. Yep. And I denied it. And people questioned me. And I said, no, there's no evidence of it. The post links to a YouTube video with audio narrating the same text. Is it still there? Let's see. Look at that. That's a YouTube video, huh? Let's see. Truth Untold, South Africa, Mzansi, 61,000 views. Well, I'm not signing into that. Anyway, so yeah, and TikTok, and it's everywhere. No press conference. channel that posted the video was a disclaimer that reads the channel is all about satire. Okay, there you go. Well, that channel is about satire and parody. So people fell for it. There you go. Satire and parody, meaning nothing here is meant to be taken seriously. Content is fictional. But people fell for it. They fell for it. Yeah, not me though. I didn't fall for it. Just like the Gwede Mantashe arrest, I haven't fallen for that either. Well, folks, you got to be careful. Video-assisted replay for soccer, something that Gate McKenzie thinks the South African taxpayer should pay for, although I don't see him offering money to pay for, subsidizing Bowling Cavaliers or the Pumas or other South African rugby teams. Thank you, Peter van der Westhuizen, for 14 Rand super sticker. Yes, a video-assisted replay is not coming, as Gate McKenzie had promised. They're still trying to find the money. Sports Minister reiterates belief that the South African public desires to host a Formula One Grand Prix. Well, that may be true, but why are we paying for video-assisted referees when that should be paid for by the private enterprises that need it, not by the taxpayer? Gregory Stout, why is Trump cutting funds to rural hospitals, cause 6% and possibly close the doors? Because you're spewing fake news. That's fake news. Read the actual analysis of what's happening. Trump is not leading 60% of rural hospitals. That's bullshit. Bullshit. Go propagandize elsewhere to a crowd of suckers. This isn't a crowd of suckers. This is well-informed people here who actually read. and comprehend. Thank you, Anna, for becoming a member. 2 men arrested. And by the way, we're not talking about America, Gregory. What are you looking for attention? Ooh, me. Over here. Me. Gregory Stroud, this is not U.S. news. Are you paying attention? We're talking about South Africa, not about America. That comes later in the program. So this is what we call trolling, folks. This is what we call trolling. It really is. This is what people do when they troll. They try to disrupt the flow. And you've succeeded, Gregory. You've succeeded disrupting the flow. Because now it's time for the Jamaican edition.
Hop to the left, Bunny's on the scene. First so clean, move sharp, he's mean. Eyes like fire, trolls start to quake. Mess with the bunny,
big mistake.
Stagger off, bunny protector of peace. Jumping through the chaos, never on a leash. Trolls come lurking, but they can't pretend. The bunny's here and it's the bitter end. Bugger off, bunny protector of peace. Jumping through the chaos, never on a leash. Trolls come lurking, but they can't pretend. The bunny's here and it's the bitter end. Connell's right hand, ears standing tall. One thumb from the foot sends him through the wall. Carrots in the pocket, wisdom in his paw. Trolls see the bunny, drop their jaw. Bounce, 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 the rhythm don't stop. Trolls try to climb, but the bunny's on top. Guarded the guardian, defender of the land. The bugger off bunny with the master plan. Bugger off bunny. Jumping through the chaos, never on a leash. Trolls come lurking, but they can't pretend. The bunny's here and it's the bitter end. Swift as a shadow, silent in the night. Trolls meet the bunny, then they take flight. Ears like antennas, catching every sound. The bugger off bunny, king of the ground.
Yeah, man, it's the Jamaica version, bugger off bunny. You come troll here, you get the bugger off bunny. The bugger of bunny. Listen, Gregory Stroud, if you want to talk about U.S., let's talk about that when we get to the U.S. news and stop disrupting the flow. Back to the news, folks. The bugger off bunny says, back to the news. South African news, we haven't gotten past that yet. So, 2 men arrested for that murder of that 80-year-old woman in the Cape Flats and 3 others in Cape Town. The anti-gang unit has arrested 2 people in connection with the shooting at a Bishop Lavis house last week in which 4 people, including 80-year-old Gogo, were killed. Police spokesman Warrant Officer Joseph Thoughtboy said an initial investigation revealed that 2 armed men stormed into the house at Reenenberg Road at 7:15, firing numerous gunshots at the occupants. Well, that's good news, but sad that that woman was murdered. Turning our attention now, we're leaving South Africa, talking to regional news. Zimbabwe. A court has dismissed an application by a former Mugabe minister who had been hiding in South Africa. Walter Mzembe, a former Zimbabwean minister under Mugabe's government, was arrested after defaulting on warrants issued 7 years ago. He returned to Zimbabwe after being exiled since 2018. He'd been languishing in reprimand for over a month in prison. He was arrested on June 12th after a surprise return to Zimbabwe from exile in South Africa. He was arrested for defaulting on bail 7 years ago. The court says he must stay in jail. Mozambique paves a way for the restart of Total Energies' LNG project in the north of the country. They halted construction in 2021 after the fake Islamic State ghouls caused all these murders. Mozambique has created necessary conditions to resumption of Total Energies' $20 billion liquefied natural gas project in the country, according to the country's energy minister. Total Energies halted construction back in 2021 after the Islamic State-linked insurgency, they're not linked to the Islamic State, threatened its Afaguni site in north of Mozambique. was a meeting with the perspective of restarting activities. So they're going to continue that project, which has been delayed for 4 years, increasing 4 years of abject poverty for Mozambicans. But let's be honest, that money won't flow to poor Mozambicans. It'll flow to Frelimo, into their pockets. The Rapid Support Forces apparently have killed as many as 300 people in North Kordofan, according to authorities. The RSF has been fighting Sudanese army in that area, one of the key front lines in a civil war that's raged since April of 2023. The army claims to have taken firm control of the center and east of the country, while the RSF is working to consolidate its control of western regions, including North Kordofan. And these people were killed there. Kenya's President Ruto is under fire for a shoot protesters remark. People are not happy about that. At least 38 people have been killed, 500 injured when police opened fire on crowds over the past several days. Demonstrators have shaken the country, and Ruto recently said protesters who engage in violence should be shot in the leg. Ouch, shot in the leg. Well, that's not going to flow well. Al-Shabaab has captured a central Somali town. This group never goes away. Al-Shabaab insurgents have seized the town of Tardo in Somalia's central Hiran region and are pressing on with an advance that has already displaced thousands, according to a military official. It's a key crossroads linking larger urban centers. It fell on Sunday after the al-Qaeda-allied fighters of Al-Shabaab drove out government-allied clan fighters, according to Major Mohammed Abdullahi, he told Reuters. This insurgency has been going on since 2007, and we've had Amazon forces and other forces in the region trying to stop it from happening. A U.S. court has intervened, claiming that President Trump cannot strip temporary protected status from Afghans and Cameroonians. Why? There's no reason people can't go back to Cameroon. There's no reason they should have ever been given temporary protected status, quite frankly. Afghans, we can make that argument. This news report claims that 82,000 Afghans came to America in 2021. That number is half the actual number. 70,000 entered the U.S. in temporary parole or legal entry for 2 years in 2021. Let me do the math. 2021, 2022, 2023. That's the 2 years. It expired. Biden should have kicked them out. 2024, 2025. Been extended. Now, 4 years on a 2-year temporary permission to stay in America. Out. Bye. Be gone. All of you, get out. Syria announces a ceasefire after some sectarian violence. That's interesting. Syria's defense minister announced the ceasefire shortly after government forces entered the key city of Sueda today. The announcement came a day after sectarian clashes killed dozens and after Israel launched strikes in the area. Defense Minister Mouraf Abu Qasra said the statement that the agreement with the city's notables and dignitaries, we will respond only to the sources of fire and deal with any targeting by outlaw groups. Syria, the personal domain and dominion of the Bashir family for 5 decades, is still a mess, an absolute mess. Romania's government defends tax rise and survives a no-confidence vote. Romanian Prime Minister Ile Boljan delivered a speech in Parliament. That's back in June. Romania's 3-week-old government survived a no-confidence vote yesterday, allowing it to push through tax hikes in an effort to lower the nation's budget deficit. Prime Minister Boljan's coalition has fast-tracked an increase in value-added tax akin to the U.S. sales tax. No, it's not. Value-added tax is not akin to U.S. sales tax. This is the Americans trying to explain what VAT is. Excise duties and other levies through Parliament that take effect in August. The move aims to prevent a ratings downgrade to below investment grade level and unblock access to European Union funds. The coalition of 4 pro-EU parties took power at the end of June after months of political inertia caused by the cancellation of the presidential election and the illicit interference in the election, denying a right-wing candidate a chance to become president. President Trump announces a trade deal with Indonesia. Wow, we're making progress. Trump said Tuesday that he struck a trade agreement with Indonesia, the 4th most populous country in the world, and the largest Muslim country in the world. Great deal for everybody, just made with Indonesia. I dealt directly with their highly respected president. The pact is a sign that Mr. Trump's negotiators are willing to adjust proposed tariffs so long as countries present a suitable deal by August 1st. Are you listening, South Africa? Are you listening, ANC? Are you listening, Nkabisi Jonas? Oh, wait, never mind. He's not the representative. More difficult negotiations are ahead, however, notably with the European Union, a major trading bloc that accounted for $1 trillion in trade with the U.S. in 2024. Trump had threatened to impose 32% tariffs on Indonesian goods. The U.S. trade deficit in Indonesia was $17.9 billion in 2024. Wow. That's not good. So we've got to deal with Indonesia. I have no idea what it is. The details were not announced. Perhaps they will be announced on the White House website. Meanwhile, Russia is looking to scrap its sole aircraft carrier as repair costs rise. Wow, the Russian government is considering whether its remaining aircraft carrier, which has been plagued by deadly fire and costly repairs, is worth keeping. The Cold War-era Admiral Kuznetsov could be scrapped after an overhaul that began in 2017 was later abandoned. Opinions are divided about the fate of the Russian flagship, with some officials in Moscow calling it indispensable to the nation's defense and others considering carriers to be relics in modern naval warfare. Wow. We'll see what happens there. Russia will no longer have, while China builds aircraft carriers. Turning our attention to the United States. Are you still here, Gregory Stroud? Now's the time to start talking about the United States. Attorney General Pam Bondi dismisses Justice Department's top ethics lawyer. Ouch. And of course, they come after her, claiming you would only just remove the ethics lawyer if you are dirty. That's what they're going to say. Attorney General Pam Bondi terminated the head of the Department's Justice Ethics Division, according to a letter posted to social media by the fired official. On Monday, former DOJ Ethics Division Director Joseph Terrell said in a post on LinkedIn that he'd been fired, included a copy of the dismissal letter. The letter said that's an official notice showing that he was removed from his position as Director of Department of Ethics Office, effective immediately on July 11th. Pursuant to Article 2 of the United States Constitutional Laws of the United States, your employment with the Department of Justice is hereby terminated. You're removed from federal service effective immediately. The notice further stated Terrell has the right to appeal within 30 days. Until Friday evening, I was the senior ethics attorney in the Department of Justice, responsible for advising the Attorney General and Deputy Attorney General directly on federal employee ethics. I was also responsible for day-to-day operations ethics. He said that his public service is not over and that his career as a federal civil servant is not finished. I look forward to finding ways to continue my personal calling of service to my country. I encourage everyone who's reading this to do the same. His post outlined his resume in the federal government, starting with his time as a naval officer before he joined the FBI in 2006. Termination comes in the midst of a tumultuous time at DOJ and the FBI over the Epstein stuff. So why did she terminate the head of ethics? Interesting. Former Navy officer. Well, a judge blocks President Trump's birthright citizenship ban order. A federal judge in New Hampshire on Thursday placed a nationwide block on President Trump's executive order. Wait a second. Is this current news? Is this old news? Yeah, no, it's from last week. Yeah. The court hereby finds that class petitioners have demonstrated likelihood of success in the merits of their claims, that class petitioners likely suffer irreparable harm if the order is not granted. The potential harm to the class petitioners if the order is not granted. Well, what they've done here, the judge, the George W. Bush appointee, gave the government 7-day delay for the appeal. So what they've done here is they basically said that anyone who wants is now part of a class action suit, which would include all these people around the country who are illegally becoming American citizens. So they're all protected now. And that actually can stand. That isn't in conflict with what the Supreme Court said. Inflation climbs. They blame it on the tariffs. Inflation ticks up again in June, and annual rate reaches 2.7%, when just days ago it was reported that it was 0.8%. Who's telling the truth here? Energy and shelter were the biggest drivers. Funny, energy, the price of gasoline has dropped. What energy has gone up? The price of gasoline is $1 a gallon cheaper than it was just 2 months ago here. And it's summertime when the price always goes up. Somebody's lying. U.S. inflation registers largest increase in 5 months in June and provide little indication of whether tariffs were triggering price pressures. So, they're saying energy prices are a major contributor. This is fueled by a 1% surge in gasoline index. Where? 1%? It's come down $1. That's a 1/3 drop, not a 1% increase. Don't know where they get their data from. 2 people dead in heavy rains. Last night I reported on Night Owls just how bad the rain was. It was insane. 2 people died in New Jersey after a car was swept away. Again, that's how most people die in floods, trying to brave and ford these fast-flowing waters. It's stupid. Last night, on at least 5 occasions, we encountered flooded roadways in a large bucky, a large Ford F-250, and rather than being stupid and trying to ford them, we simply drove around. So a 45-minute trip last night took 2 hours and 55 minutes to get to the veterans training. 2 hours and 55 minutes. We arrived an hour late, despite leaving 2 hours before the event for a 45-minute drive. The rain started when we left. And rivers flooded, creeks flooded over banks, and roads were washed out or covered in fast-flowing water along the Susquehanna, down along the river, and also in major creek beds. 5 occasions we had to turn around and backtrack. And, there you go. Watched another stream where they discussed that the judge wording to counter Trump opened the door for anti-abortion to use the ruling in their favor. I don't know if that's the case. I haven't read the whole ruling. Anna Kruger, 14 Rand, thank you. But this is insane. This flooding here in the Mid-Atlantic was brutal. Brutal. Look at the subway there. Man. Torrential rains that inundated New York City area left at least 2 people dead, according to officials. A state of emergency was in effect in New Jersey, where Governor Phil Murphy said flooding in the suburb of Plainfield swept away a vehicle Monday night, killing 2 people. Sprawling storms swelled waterways up and down the eastern seaboard, and forecasters warned that flooding was still possible from Washington to the Carolinas. New York City's public transit system was largely up and running after storms sent water cascading into subway stations and bubbling up through sewer drains Monday night, inundating trains and tracks and leaving some commuters temporarily stranded. The flooding underscored an issue that some transit and environmental advocates have warned about for years: the inability of the region's infrastructure to handle increasingly extreme weather. Video showed floodwaters gushing into subway platforms in New York and even into some cars. The storm evoked memories of similar transit disruptions in recent years, including the intense rain that shut down half of New York's subway system in September 2023. Well, there you go, folks. Crazy, crazy weather. So for many New Yorkers, the waterlogged subways around the city were a familiar sight. And here you see, this is the rain. That's at 8 a.m. this morning. Most of the rain is gone. You can see Harrisburg on there in the center left, the left of the screen. But most of this rain is hit in northeastern Pennsylvania and New York City. That's this morning, what's left, the remnants of that storm. It was pretty brutal, folks. President Trump defends Attorney General Pam Bondi and urges supporters to move on from the Epstein files. He said his supporters playing the hands of his political rivals by focusing on circumstances surrounding Epstein. President Trump said on July 12th, he said, "What's going on with my boys, in some cases girls, we have perfect administration." Trump is not happy about the focus on that. An ex-U.S. Army officer is caught spying, admitting to sharing classified information about Russia-Ukraine war with a woman he met online. A former Army officer who held a top-secret security clearance in his post-retirement job with the U.S. Strategic Command pled guilty last week to passing classified information about Russia's war with Ukraine through an online dating platform. Retired Army Lieutenant Colonel David Franklin Slater, 64, pled guilty to a single count of conspiring to transmit classified information before a federal magistrate in Omaha, Nebraska. In exchange for his guilty plea, 2 other counts were dropped. Slater was working as a civilian at Strategic Command at Offutt Air Force Base in February 2022 when he began communicating with a woman believed to be living in Ukraine. During this time, the woman asked him to provide her with sensitive, non-public, closely held, classified national defense information to which he had access as a result of his employment with the Air Force. On March 7, 2022, 11 days after Russia invaded Ukraine, the woman sent him a message saying, "American intelligence says that already 100% of Russian troops are located on the territory of Ukraine. Do you think this information can be trusted?" Calling Slater her secret agent and secret informant, the woman asked him for details about plans that President Biden and NATO officials would help Ukraine. "My sweet Dave, thanks for the valuable information. It's great that 2 officials from the USA are going to Kyiv." She posted, "Dave, I hope tomorrow NATO will prepare a very unpleasant surprise for Putin. Will you tell me?" Prosecutors said Slater passed along classified defense information about military targets on the 28th of March. About 2 weeks later, he transmitted intelligence material about Russian military capabilities. Defendant was required to protect national defense information, classified information, properly handle, store, and disseminate classified information, report suspicious incidents, including attempts by anyone without authorization to receive classified or sensitive information from the U.S. military. Federal prosecutors said Slater and the woman often communicated through the online messaging platform, where she asked him for sensitive information he had access to because of his position. Defendant knew and had reason to believe that such information could be used to the injury of the United States or to the advantage of a foreign power. His plea, he said he conspired to willingly communicate national defense information to an unauthorized person. He remains free pending his sentencing, which is scheduled for October 8th. Prosecutors and his lawyers agreed that he should serve between 5 years and 10 months and 7 years and 3 months in prison. The government will recommend a term at the low end of that range. The charge carries a maximum of 10 years behind bars. And I recommend 10 years. 10 years. 10 years in prison. That's my recommendation. That's what I say. International buyers are snapping up U.S. property, including the Chicoms. $56 billion worth of U.S. homes were bought in just 1 year. Buyers from Communist China accounted for 15% of all foreign purchases, followed by Canadians at 14%. Foreign buyers purchased $56 billion worth of existing homes in the United States. That is one eighth. Foreigners purchased 1/8 of the total value of 1 year of South African gross domestic product in U.S. homes alone. In 1 year. $56 billion. In terms of number of properties, they bought 78,100 houses, a 44% increase from prior year. This is also the first annual increase since 2017. The average purchase price of the homes that the foreigners bought in America was $494,400. This is why homes are unaffordable. You people keep coming here and complaining about the U.S. being unaffordable, rents being expensive. It's because foreigners are buying up our homes, just like the Brits were doing in Cape Town 20 years ago, driving up the prices, pushing locals out of the marketplace. That's why. 78,000 housing units purchased by foreigners, driving up the cost in certain markets. International interest in buying U.S. real estate increased following the global economic recovery several years ago. However, elevated home prices and interest rates continue to dampen overall potential sales activity. China was the top buyer of U.S. existing homes, making up 15% of all foreign purchases. Canada at 14%, followed by Mexico at 8%, India at 6%, and the UK at 4%. The top housing market for international buyers, Florida. 21% of all those. So 21% of 78,000 homes were purchased in Florida by foreigners, followed by California 15%, Texas at 10%, New York at 7%, Arizona at 5%. To some degree, due to stubbornly high mortgage rates, the greater share of international home buyers paid cash. 47% paid cash. 47% of those 78,000 people paid cash for $500,000 houses. Oh yeah, America's a systemically racist country. Oh, it's a horrible place. Yet Mexicans and Brits and Canadians and Chinese are coming here in droves and buying our homes and driving up the price. Why would classified information be exposed? Because he stole it and communicated to her. He's treasonous. He should spend a lot of time in jail. And there you have the news, folks. Thanks for being here. We actually hit 900 there a little while, 1,000. I guess people didn't like the bugger off bunny they took off. Drug money, Mike. Some of it, yes, no doubt. For some EFF guys who were singing Spar a few nights ago to me because I have a long beard, this is now becoming more in your face. Yeah, oh, no, Andrew, it is. It's becoming more in your face, the racism. Wouldn't it be cool if you can broadcast live on Spotify? You're doing a live video. I don't know if I can do that. I can put podcasts on there, Joe Czar. I don't know if Spotify lets you do that. I don't think they do. They like to control their stuff. Speaking of Spotify, let me take a look at that because some people have joined us on Spotify. I published 2 more songs last night, Cyril the Waffle Man and No Confidence in the Man. Those 2 songs got published last night. Let's see if they show up on Spotify now. Spotify for artists, that's what I want to get to, and then Spotify. Okay. How are we doing here? Audience. We are at 192 listeners now. Cool. 201 followers. Thank you for that. Although each day seems to be dropping off a little bit more, but thank you. DJ Silver Evil, 191 monthly listeners. Yeah, we've got 2 more songs published. Thank you for that, folks. So DJ Silver Eagle, this is the link if you want it. These songs that I'm generating are getting posted there. The better ones, not all of them. We don't want to inundate people with songs that are boring. But the Bugger Off Bunny is there. Save South Africa is there. Meerkats in Space, Jellyfish Way, Heart of a Nation Slipping Away, Cat Got Your Tongue, Proud and Strong, The Right Move, Springbok Glory is there as well. Yep. It's not showing me all of them. It just shows 10. Why does it show me all of them? Show all. There we go. There we go. No Confidence Man, Cyril the Waffle Man, Make South Africa Great Again, Get It Together, Dim the Lights, Natalie, Bleeding Soil, The Right Move, The Bugger Off Bunny, Springbok Glory, Ramaphosa's Gambit, Proud and Strong, Persona Non Grata, Meet and Greet Vibes, Meerkats in Space, Colonel Chris Lives On, Jellyfish Way, Heart of a Nation Slipping Away, Cat Got Your Tongue, and Save South Africa. All of them are there. So there you go, folks. You can check that out over on Spotify. It's free, I think. I don't know. Anyway, hear about the white paper written into the system to monitor and penalize us on YouTube, WhatsApp, Netflix, if we have to say anything against government. I have not heard about a white paper. I've heard about an effort to try to do that. Country claim democracy if there's racist power. I don't know how a country can claim they're democratic if they have racist policies. You're welcome, Utopi. I listened to it this afternoon. It says, Mandy, cool. Time to get out of Dodge. The world must act equal employment opportunities for all, no affirmative action. I agree, Pat Murray. I get that Tai Chi constantly. I don't watch anything. Cloud Strife. Okay. Wouldn't it be cool? Okay, I already got that. Andrew Kerr, got that. Johan Fonsale. Things make so much noise, can barely hear the Colonel. Had to connect my Bluetooth speaker. What's making much noise? Try buying a house in Australia, New Zealand. Good luck. Immigrants from India and China pricing everywhere in the market. Yeah, Dirk, I'm not surprised. Not surprised. ICE must deport those who make apps against... Yeah, I agree. Well, if they're citizens, you can't deport them, but they can certainly be in prison for it. Yep. What's your opinion of the Minneapolis mayoral candidate? I think that he's dangerous. He looks like a freaking... He looks creepy as all get out. The fact that the guy was elected to the Minnesota Senate is disgusting. This is because Minnesotans don't bother to go vote, and they get outnumbered by the Somalis who do go vote. Yeah, I think that guy's creepy. And look, we're going to go the way of the UK, where radical Islamists take over our cities. London, Sadiq Khan. Virtually every major UK city is run by non-English. Every England city is run by non-English. Leicester, Manchester, Birmingham, London, all run by people who aren't even English. They're being pushed out of their country, being pushed out of their own country. Yeah, and the same is happening here now. New York and Minneapolis. Pretty scary stuff. Whether they can be dealt with, the people are the issue. Bad people, stands here, and lying. Yeah, they are lying. African national corruption, says Pat Murray. Gregory Stouty is still here. And we can talk about the U.S. now, if you want. Hey, Colonel, what's your prediction on the Eagles versus Spain game? They already played Spain. Are they playing a second game? They already lost to Spain. What are you talking about? Is there another game? I didn't realize they were playing a doubleheader. Let me look and see. So we got Manu Samoa versus Scotland, South Africa versus Georgia. I don't know the USA. Let me see. USA Rugby test. Okay. Test matches. Okay. Let's see. 2025 match series. Okay. They played already. So what are you asking me? They lost to Spain. They play England. Yeah. That's what I thought. That's the last one. Yeah, they play on the 19th in D.C. They play next week against England. I haven't even thought about that. Maybe I should go to that game. In D.C. Yep, they lost to Spain already. Are you trying to trick me here? They lost 21-30. They beat Belgium 36-17. They beat Spain last year in November, so I was surprised they lost 31-20. That was a bit surprising. Anyway, they've already lost to Spain, man. What else? Premium YouTube Longo. Don't have to worry about that. I will do my part for Colonel Stream once and financially. Well, Werner, I do get money from Premium. You guys have Premium. I get money if you watch my content. So let me look at my earnings. Where is? Oh no, that's not what I want. I'm looking in the wrong place. I need to look here. Let me look here. So from Premium, it's not showing me this here. Come on. Oh, it's not listed here anymore. It used to show me that. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Right now, premium memberships, those who are watching my content are premium members are accounting for 9.8% of the revenue that came in. 9.8%. So it's appreciated. So you are contributing. Don't sweat that. You are contributing. So if you are a premium member, we still get something, even though you don't watch the ads. I get a little cut. I don't know how that works. I don't know how YouTube does it, but it's the amount of money I got from premium in the last 28 days is more than I would get on average for my entire channel for the past 3 years. So keep it up. Keep it up. Watch another stream where they discussed that judge worded. Okay, that's where you said earlier. I saw that. One of the first things he did was increase VAT. I knew it was not what everyone said he was. I knew he'd be bad for business. ANC should change the city and street name in South Africa as they have destroyed so much that I would not want any Afrikaner leaders' names on things that are no longer working destroyed. Well, they're doing that. Don't worry. Find it crazy we pay Zulu King $78 million to do nothing, and why money and not Lobola since he's supposed to be traditional. Yep. Cabinet lifestyle audience. The entire parliament should have lifestyle audiences. I mean, it's ridiculous. As a lieutenant colonel, as a major in the U.S. Army, I had to do lifestyle audits every year. Every year, because I had positions of trust and positions of responsibility. I oversaw a $3 billion program. That's reasonable to me to expect me to do a lifestyle audit. I do a lifestyle audit every single year, ladies and gentlemen, every single year. Basically from around 2000 and, let's see, when did I start doing this? 2007 until 2015. Is that right? Yeah, and I did them a few times before that. Every year I had to do a lifestyle audit. And it's very annoying. It's very intrusive. Every checking account, every savings account, every mutual fund, every brokerage account, every domestic, every foreign asset, every mortgage, everything you've got to disclose to these people and trust that they won't disclose to people. And we know how untrustworthy the government is because the U.S. government allowed our data in the classified databases about our security clearances to be exposed for 18 months. They didn't even know about it. As far as we know, the Chinese and the Romanians and the Russians and North Koreans were all in there, and Iranians rooting through our personal information. So, yeah. But yeah, I had to do it. So I don't understand why South Africa didn't include that from the very beginning. That should have been from the outset. There's already been a 25% tariff on car imports to the U.S. since April. Would 5% make a big difference? Yes, Wild Mountains. Do you know why? Because right now you're on the level playing field with Europe and Europe, Korea, and Japan, Canada, and Mexico for car imports. All those countries send cars to America. They all pay 25%. You will be paying 30%. Well, you actually be ahead of Canada because there's going to be 35%. And Mexico's going to be 30%. So maybe it isn't true for all those places. Yeah, I guess it's going to be a level. So you're right. I think Japan and Korea are also getting a 30% tariff. So unless those are resolved, you'll be on a level playing field. But once they're not resolved, plus don't forget, it's likely to be another 10% because of the BRICS comment from Trump. Yep. See, Gayton's upset not being allowed to fly business class. No, I didn't see that. Wow. Well, Gayton should be paying out of his own pocket if he wants to fly business class. He's rich. Why can't he pay out of his own pocket? Australia is being destroyed. You're the last Australian. Yeah, no, Australia is destroyed by the mass immigration from Asia. I saw that in New Zealand when I was there in the 2011 World Cup, and Chinese everywhere, all the whores on the street. You know, prostitution apparently is legal there. You're walking down the street, whores standing outside these buildings. They're all Chinese. Yep. We Indians coloreds. Huh? What are you trying to say, Pat Marie? We Indians coloreds. What is that? My wife and 2-year-old daughter alongside myself, thank you for all your hard work. Well, you're very welcome, Kyle. Very welcome. My pleasure. Nice of your 2-year-old to thank me. Missed notification. Well, notification went out late, Belinda. There probably wasn't a notification because I got busy editing a video for the Truth Report that I recorded. And I did not post this stream. And so as I was about to go live, I realized I had not posted. I got distracted by events. We had breaking news with Jonas, the story unfolding from the DA there. And so I worked on a video on that. And then I worked on editing a video I recorded last night for the Truth Report. And I had to get that out because it's timely. So I didn't post it. If you don't post the video more than 30 minutes before you go live, they don't send notifications. And so that's why you didn't get a notification. So I set it for quarter after the hour. So apologies for that. That's awesome. If Gayton wants to fly business class, he can pay for himself. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Why should South African taxpayers pay for him to be comfortable? Hermione Swanepoel. I mean, look, I've never flown business class in the U.S. government. Always fly economy, and usually the crappy seats. Colonel music just hits a spot and stiff like jellyfish. We know the backstories, even if more people who don't have the story and specific song love it. Yep, what did Tintin say? Robert Franklin Moore's here. Hopefully the shakeup has started in SAPS. I hope so. Work U.S. hours, sometimes longer, so I see the Colonel this time in early morning and catch up on the rest of the world's happening. Okay. Okay, common sense. Yes, but our vehicle industry was used to getting 0% tariffs. Exactly. And now we want to jump in and just be okay. Exactly, common sense. You were getting 0% tariffs before, and it was $2 billion a year in exports. And that's gone. 87% decline in exports year over year in the most recent month reported. 87% from 9,700 vehicles exported to America to just 1,100, and almost all those were Mercedes C-Class. The DA is nailing it. Finally, it took him time. I think the car industry is going to take a big hit regardless of tariffs because Trump is bringing a lot of new car manufacturing plants to America with no tariffs. Yep, you're right about that. Yep, I thought as much when there was notification for 6. You're busy, but you'll be here. Thank you, Ingrid. I appreciate that. Hello, Haley Senecal. So who broke the news? The Freedom Front Plus? What news, Media Center? Which news are you talking about? You're talking about which news? Yeah, I thought Paul Mashatile and Steenhuisen were in China. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true. I don't keep up with John Steenhuisen, so I don't know where he's at, unless it's mentioned in the press. All right, so Mark Atsuno, what is Mark's question? It's not an app. I'm not using the app. I'm using the website, but there is an app. Yes, his white minister. Thank you for your membership, Happy Slappy. Thank you. Oh, you got 5 gifted memberships coming in. Oh, got to turn off the alert box. We'll get inundated there. Okay, cool beans. John is watching ANC in China. Okay. Have you heard about Trevor Noah? He used to make good, truthful jokes. Have I heard about Trevor Noah? Are you serious? We've castigated Trevor Noah many, many times on this program. He was a mildly entertaining mixed-raced South African comedian before he went to America and embarrassed himself with his rank, vile racism and anti-Americanism. And finally, we sent him back to South Africa. You missed the mechanical keyboard, Red John? No one else does. I still have it, but the keys were sticking. That's why I had to change it. Is it possible to call an early election in South Africa? What is the deal on that? Yeah, can they call an election? Yeah, they can call an election at any time, if I'm not mistaken. They just have to call it within the 5 years. They can go 3 months before, 3 months after, but they got to fall in that window, 6 month window. So I think they can call it at any time, but I'm not 100%. He was funny. Yeah, a long time ago. He's a fake colored. You know, he calls himself a colored. He's a lying sack of horse manure. Trevor Noah is not colored. Trevor Noah is mixed race. Being mixed race is not colored, ladies and gentlemen. If I knock boots with a black lady, my child is not colored. My child will be an American, but not colored. Colored is an ethnic group that formed from Khoisan, Malaysians, Indonesians, and Europeans mixing in the Cape 4 centuries ago. Trevor sucks. Agreed. Anton says he's never funny. People on the ground seem to believe the pricks nations are going to pricks nations. He's definitely a lefty. He's a wackadoodle who everything is shrouded in race, and he thinks it's funny that white farmers are murdered. He thinks that's a funny story. I listened to him in a podcast the other day with the condom wearing Danny boy, the guy wears a condom on his head all the time. They did a podcast, and it was repulsive and vomit inducing. Keep Trevor. No, he's not in the USA. He's in South Africa. Trevor and Rosie O'Donnell. Do I think this is a good point of tribal wars? I don't think it's going to be tribal. I think it's going to be politically based, and we're on the verge of it now. Elon Musk is not a bad export. It's just a bit of a wackadoodle. Next week is my pensioner payday, 25th, and I'll be able to show some monetarily appreciate. Biki Platzek. No. Oh, Ingrid, thank you. Rosie can stay in Ireland, and it's not safe to go to Ireland anymore. It's a shame. South Africa loves the Malay Kapis. Yeah. Kapsa. People speaking Kapsa. Fabian Bridger wants to know if it's possible for citizens of South Africa to say we've had enough and we want change in government now. Yeah. We are aware. Nadia. What's this? DNA? What are you saying, Rex? Charlize Theron, a lefty. Charlize Theron is a lunatic. She's a wackadoodle. She is a crap weasel. Yeah. If I was mixed blood, I would be proud of my genetic pools. Why must you always pick a side when you're colored? Why label yourself? Colored is its own cultural community in of its own right, Tanzar. There's no one unproud of it. The colored community is a community in of its own right, with its own traditions, its own euphemisms, its own cultural norms. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with that. Cleaning up post-dinner, says Justina. Sell your soul. Deport Charlene's. Oh, wait. The 49 Afrikaners don't want her. She is from Benoni. Someone mentioned me in Benoni today. U.S. government denied BC Jonas a visa. Why would you go to Conscious Caracal, Ish say Pugmam? Why wouldn't you just watch my video? Why are you doing that? Why are you telling people to go to the Conscious Caracal when I have a video right here that covers this? I mean, what is that all about? What is that all about? Talk about, wow, that's just very rude. If it was a breaking story and nobody had it, and you were telling me about the breaking story, that would be cool. But I've made a video on it, and you're coming in my chat and telling people to leave my chat and go watch it on Conscious Caracal. That's not cool. That's just rude, man. That's just rude. Yeah, Trump is opening up a lot of eyes to Truth African leaders. Yep. People looking the other way. If there was a vote of no confidence against Cupcake, would that bring in early elections? Would it bring an election for a new president? That's what it would bring. What's wrong with Benoni? I didn't say anything was wrong with Benoni Media Center, but people were making jokes about it, laughing about it. The Goals Cape Town made that great video during lockdown about the variants of COVID, and they said, somebody mentioned me in Benoni today. It was pretty funny. I'll never forget that. That was so funny. Goals Cape Town. Funny stuff. By the way, my phone died last night. I didn't charge it. Just completely died on me. Charlie's a disgrace. Yeah, I agree. I don't disagree. Old client we had looked at like a color, but one of his parents was black, so he requested Home Affairs to change identity, and the court approved it. Well, that's ridiculous. Can we do a poll on who for next president? I suppose. All right, let's do that. We'll do a poll on president. We got 800 people here. Let's start a poll. Don't leave, folks. Hit that like button. Okay. All right, there you go. You got 4 choices. I can only put 4 in there. Benoni's the new Brock pen. It's funny. We have 16 Afrikaners in South Africa. Wow. Minus 16. Okay. Brock Pan is more legit than Benoni, says Common Sense. Okay. Yeah, if they don't get the budget passed, they can call an election. Travel industry. Safaris in Africa and focus on East Africa, but I think that the guys with a focus in South Africa are stressing a bit. Most access via OR Tambo. Well, that used to be how I always got to South Africa, but now I always go to Cape Town. Watch the video, folks. That's like telling the host the food is great, but you can find better food at KFC. Exactly, Side Off Connor. Exactly. It was a breaking story. I mean, people come in and share things, that's great. We appreciate that because we go live and events happen while we're live. So, or maybe I wasn't available to me, I didn't see it. So appreciate that. But coming in saying, hey, Conscious Caracal has got this story, what's that all about? What's that all about? You guys are welcome to go watch Conscious Caracal. You're welcome to subscribe to Ernst Fund Sales Twitter account, his YouTube channel. That's fantastic. I encourage it. But, that was just an unsolicited thing. Hey, he's got this. Well, dude, I put a video out this morning. How about watching my video? What's going on here? It looks like am I still live? Am I still live? It says I'm live, but YouTube's acting up again. Ugh, this channel, this platform. Ugh, this platform. By the way, you hit 108,000 subscribers finally, folks. That's cool. 812 people here currently. Thank you for that. The poll is up. Okay. And you're voting in who you think should be the next president. Not who it's going to be, who you think should be the president. I guess that's how I should. Happy for South Africa successful, yes, but I don't know about Charlize. Maybe they didn't see you make a video. Steve Hofmeier's president. I don't think that's going to happen. Corney Mulder, it's not going to happen because he will be immediately attacked by the media as racist, as right-wing because of the origins of his party. Not going to happen. As deputy president, could happen. Labisa is president and Corney Mulder is deputy president. That would be a great pairing. I think that would work great. Labisa is president, Corney Mulder is his deputy. That would be incredible. Wow. Don't know what to vote. Zulus have too much history with Afrikaners. Have they really made peace and can they see eye to eye? Good question there, Anime. Yep. Still live. Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, no, it was buffering over here. It was acting up. Not the stream, but my view of the stream. I get a little window over here, and it was just hanging up. Thank you, guys. Thank you for letting me know. I sent you a WhatsApp. We can't make this up. Okay, let me see what the WhatsApp is real quick. It looks like it's important. Who sent it? Anime sent it to me. You sent me music. Patches, what's going on, Primal Boar? I will run away if Steenhuisen's next president says. Marsh says Neil Beer's not going to make it. Where are you getting that from? None of the above, okay? Dr. Mulder and Neil de Beer. Okay, I voted wrong. I thought who we think is going to be. Yeah, no, who you think is going to be. If I ever get the honor to come over as refugee, I would love to do interviews with you, Colonel. Cool. Appreciate that. Colonel Chris for president. Yeah, I'm not a South African. South African Reddit did a poll for president. Steenhuisen won. There's no way that's legit. There's no way that's legit. No way that's legit. 108,000. Yep, we finally got there, Seeley. Welcome to you. We've been told that there's going to be another national shutdown. I don't know if that's going to happen. Yeah, LBR agrees with me. Labisa and Mulder. There you go. Hitler becoming the next president of South Africa would be more workable than anyone on your poll. All of them are a disaster. Labisa's a disaster? Really? How so? Not how I read the poll. If it depends on the current GNU. Don't worry about it, guys. Just vote. Is it possible to say, for instance, Southern government can vote no confidence? Can president come and take? Well, the government doesn't get a vote no confidence. The president gets a vote no confidence. No, you can't. We can't come out. Mr. Mulder would be good for the... Yeah, he would be. Well, I think Corney Mulder is a great choice, but that's just me. Some people don't like him. That's fine. Might as well have Tiki the Clown for president. Lana Banana. De la Rey. Really? De la Rey. I don't think that's going to work. If Stollenhuisen wins. You got poor John Steenhuisen. His name is. Oh my goodness. Courtney Mulder has cats, so you're going to vote for him, Zuid-Afrikaner. You guys are too much. You guys are too much, man. Oh, come on. Don't be shy. Speak your mind, guys. Speak your mind. I mean, come on. Speak your mind. Tell us what you really think about stuff. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness, guys. You're killing me. You're killing me. Oh, my goodness. Where is that at? Come on. I'm looking for something here. There it is. So, I mean, don't be shy. Just speak up. I mean, we don't let you be like Cyril. We don't want the cat to have your tongue. Cat got your tongue?
Cat got your tongue, now you're on the run. Dodging the spotlight like it's loaded gun. The scandal's purring and the claws are out. Cyril's cat gate is the talk, no doubt.
Cyril's cat gate.
Cat got your tongue, or did you bite it? Truth's in the air, but you just fight it. Shadows creeping like a whispered song. Tell me, Cyril, how could this go so wrong? Paws are silent, but claws leave marks. Hiding secrets in the darkest parks. The chase is on, but the trail's gone cold. What's the price of stories left untold? Cat got your tongue, now you're on the run. Dodging the spotlight like it's loaded gun. The scandal's burning and the claws are out. Cyril's cat gate is the talk, no doubt. Footprints fade where the whispers start. Promises break like a brittle heart. The truth's a tiger you can't tame. Can you feel the heat of the burning flame? The clock is ticking, but the hands won't spin. A house of cards can't hold the wind. The whispers roar like a lion's cry. Tell me, Cyril, can you look us in the eye? Cat got your tongue, now you're on the run. Dodging the spotlight like it's loaded gun. The scandal's purring and the claws are out. Cyril's cat gate is the talk, no doubt.
Cyril's cat gate is the talk, no doubt. Here comes the sax. Yeah, someone's asking if they can have an I voted sticker in the poll. I've got 4 of them. 4 most recent elections right here, folks. I voted. There's my 4 stickers. I've got another one on the dash of my car on my radio, my Sirius XM radio. Yep, so I voted. I'll vote for the bugger off bunny. He doesn't take prisoners. That's true. Please, if you can check your email under Loretta, please. Crisis mode here. Loretta, I talked to you. Wait, that's a different. Is that a different Loretta? Okay, hang on. Didn't I not talk to you? Or are we talking about a different Loretta? Here, hang on. You guys are confusing me. There's too many with the same names. All right. Cool. All right. So there you go. I've responded. I think there are good political parties out there, but these parties are not influential enough to change the tide. Well, I think that's a fair statement. Your poll should have said one people, two, well, not people. That's not nice. All right, let's end the poll. 317 votes, and 26% of you think Steenhuisen should be the guy. Wow. Or will be the guy. No, he's not going to be the guy. Any links between the shooter and the man on the golf course? No, doesn't appear to be any links that we know of, but we don't know. There's a cover-up. The Secret Service is not forthcoming, and no one's holding them to account. People are more interested in the Epstein files than are interested in the attempted assassination of a president. Okay, I think they're okay. What else? I think if we had someone like Rob Herself as president, should have growth in GDP. That's why Ron Poz was late. He was having a meeting in KFC. Let's be voting for wrong party, not gotten any stickers. Did the Uganda guy win? What are you talking about? Why do you think the Southern passports are more expensive than U.S. passports? They're not, human cell. What are you talking about? South African passports are dirt cheap. My passport costs $180. Your passport costs $32. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? South African passports are dirt cheap. 600 Rand. What is that currently? Let's go with 18 as the exchange rate. Was it $32, $34, something like that? Let's just do it real quick. So 600 Rand divided by 18 equals $33. I was close. 32, 34 cents. So it's $33.33. Whereas by contrast, $180 times 18, my passport costs 3,240 Rand. 3,240 Rand divided by 600 Rand, which is what you pay. That means I pay 5.5 times what you pay for a passport. So what are you talking about? Passports are cheaper. What are you talking about, man? Humanoid cell. What do you mean by that? Am I missing something? Is there an undercurrent to what you're saying? Did I miss something here? Because that's simply not true. German passport costs 100 euros. Cheaper than mine. If Trump gave 4 conditions to South African delegation May, shouldn't John Steenhuisen know about it? Yes, Johan, if they in fact did. So what does that tell you? John Steenhuisen, I believe the preconditions were given. I believe. I have no evidence to support it. It was my summation, it was my analysis before they went into the meeting. I said that's when it's going to happen. After the meeting, looking at the disheveled and clearly rattled Ramaphosa speak to the press, then I reiterated, I believe they've given him PK and they've told him what has to be done. And I stick to that story. That's without any other information. That's my analysis. Based on my expectations, which would have happened behind closed doors, having been a diplomat for many, many years, and based on what needed to be done. Now, so if in fact that did happen, then Steenhuisen was present. The fact that he hasn't told anybody shows he's loyal to the president, not to the country. What about Ike Kamala? What about him? Watching a Trump rally when he was shot, it was very strange. It was the first time CNN, NBC had left-wing media was there to cover the rally live. Interesting. I didn't watch it live, as I recall. I caught it moments after it happened. So, Johan, I hope that answers the question. Thank you for the 35 Rand super sticker there, Joe Cruiser. Dirt cheap because it's worthless. Yep. What about the Kamala? His passport's more valuable. Okay. Yes, Colonel, but your passport means something. That's true. How many 24 cans of beer does it cost? Celia will second this story. Cheers, everyone. My wife passed away a few months ago, and the black dog is haunting me tonight. I'm sorry to hear your wife passed away, Tom. I don't recall you mentioning it. Thoughts and condolences. I hope that you had a lovely time together while you were together and got the most out of it and had good memories. And I wish you well. Humanoid Cell says, the guy yesterday proved you wrong when he compared minimum wages to 2 countries. Oh, shut up. You're trolling. He proved me wrong. It's not what you said. That's not what you said. See, this is, it's a time for the bugger off bunny again. That is not what you said. You said, why is U.S. passport cheaper than the South African passport? That's what you said. I answered the question. Now you want to play equivocate and quibble here and say, the guy proved you wrong based on the comparative cost of living. Oh, please, sit down in the corner, put your dunce cap on, and stop being a deuce. You can't come in here and change the argument. No one proved me wrong. You're proving how silly you're being right now. No one proved me wrong. He didn't prove jack squat. And that was Napoleon Dynamite. And apparently he's just disappeared because his feelings were hurt. You know what? I don't care. He was rude to me, and I disproved him, and so now his feelings are hurt. Around post-medical evaluation concluded he's 84 dinners. Did I see the doctor? No, Madeline. My appointment's on the 17th. And it's after my broadcast. Green Mamba is not worthless. You can get out of the country with it. Okay. Oh, Ike is present. Benj, hey, how's it going? All right, so I'm waiting for your next response, Humanoid Cell. Wow. There's people come in here and they lurk around. They pretend to be friendly for a few days, and then they come with their nonsense. He's sweating a lot lately. He looked pretty disheveled at the 10-minute conversation the other night on Wednesday or on Sunday. You go to Ireland, South passport, no visa. You can go. No, you can't. No, you can't. 1010s are. Ireland's taken away that no visa requirement for South Africans. That's being suspended. That's what the Irish said a few months ago. It's nothing but right, Chris. You're channeling your way. Thank you. Nuba, 10 pounds from Glasgow. How's it? Hey, how's Glasgow going, man? Nothing against Glasgow, but I prefer Edinburgh. Just being honest about that. Yeah, yeah, they seek attention because they'll get home. We also had to make plans for our passports, unabridged documentation. It's mostly those standing around. And by the way, the cost of living in America isn't 5.5 times what it is in South Africa. That's a ludicrous argument, Humanoid Cell. Let's go back to this story. Well, that guy proved you wrong yesterday. He didn't prove me that the cost of living in America is 5.5 times more expensive than South Africa. That's just an insane argument. An insane argument. What does a hamburger cost at McDonald's in South Africa? Let's try that. Maybe we'll okay. Cost of hamburger in Johannes. Okay. $23.90. Okay, $23.90. $23.90. All right, so $23.90 divided by 18. 23.9 divided by 18 is $1.26. $1.26. I bought 3 hamburgers last night at McDonald's because I didn't get back till after 10. They were $1.99 with no tax. $1.99. Okay? So $1.99 versus $1.25. Okay? All right? So that's not even double. But you're trying to make the argument, Humanoid Cell, that Napoleon Dynamite claimed that America is more expensive and it's cheaper to get things, or it's cheaper in America than, I'm sorry, I got it backwards. You're claiming Napoleon Dynamite said things are cheaper here to get a passport than South Africa. That's nonsense. That's utter nonsense. So that's just, the Big Mac insects, we're using a hamburger. We pay 75 cents more for a hamburger here than you do in Joburg at McDonald's. But the same currency, 75 cents. So that's not even twice as much. Yet I pay 5.5 times as much for my passport as you do. 5.5 times. So I don't know where your math is coming from here. It's nonsensical. Nonsensical. As was his math yesterday. Nonsensical. Take a homeless person, a car guard off the street, he can do a better job than, yeah, I agree with you, Charles. Must be the kids' burger. Well, that's what it says, 23 Rand. I would say living cost of no, I would say 787 Dreamliner, it's all relative. If I'm paying $1.99 for a burger, you pay $1.25, but my income is 5 times as large here, then I'm getting a good deal. If my rent costs $2,000 and yours is $400, I'm paying 5 times as much, and then it's relative. But yeah, Burger King. Never work it back to Rand if you work and buy in dollars. You're missing the point, Arnold. Napoleon Dynamite came in here last night and when his feelings were hurt about it. He was upset. He was upset because I'm tired of the belly aching about 600 Rand for passport. I can't afford it. I can't get it. You have no idea the endless sob stories that I get, and I'm incredibly patient and compassionate with these. But at some point, it just becomes enough. And the other night, it became enough. People moaning about passports. I said, it's not expensive. It's $32. I think I said. It's actually $33 at the current exchange rate. $32 for a Southampton passport. I have to pay 5 times that. It's not expensive. And they're trying to tell me, oh, and Napoleon wanted to argue. And he brought it on. He started the conversation. He wanted to talk about the topic. He wanted to make his point and claim that it's hard. You know what? As I said the other day, either your life is in jeopardy and you want to get the fuck out of South Africa, or you want to moan about it and you want to piss about it. Okay? That's the bottom line here. The same people that will piss and moan they have no money, many of them smoke. And don't tell me you don't, because most white South Africans or Afrikaners I know tend to smoke, especially if they're over the age of 40. They tend to smoke. So people smoke. Cut back on cigarettes. Go through the withdrawal for a couple weeks. Save that money. Cut back on your Casa Lager and don't drink for a few weeks. And you'll have 600 Rand before you know it. And if that isn't working, go stand on the street corner and beg. Oh, you're too proud for that. Okay, well, I guess then this isn't a serious issue for you. Your life's not in jeopardy. You've got women who will sell their bodies to raise money on the streets of Kinshasa. Women will sell their bodies on the streets of Kampala to make money because they can't make it otherwise. And you can't beg for money on a street corner. Look, it's I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. It's the empathy, it disappears because all the people want to do is complain and make excuses. They just want to complain and make excuses. That's all they want to do, complain and make excuses. And I'm the bad guy because I offer you solutions. Stop smoking, stop drinking, stand on the street corner and beg for money. It works. Go park cars, be a car guard. The documentary video we watched, the guy who works all day made 200 Rand. Black guy, he's an EFF supporter, 200 Rand parking cars in a crappy neighborhood. 200 Rand in one day. 3 days, that's 600 Rand. Imagine if you were parking cars in a safe neighborhood. Well, you're just doing it. People give you money at it. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's people aren't serious about this. It's like this, the people came on whining, well, this is bullshit. I've been waiting months. Dude, you haven't been waiting months. The program for refugees didn't even open up until May 12th. And by the end of May, this guy was like, I've been waiting for months. I've been waiting for months. Screw Donald Trump. Screw America. You know what, buddy? Screw you. Screw you. We owe you nothing. Bupkis. And you want to piss and moan when you've been living in a cesspool for 30 years? You want to piss and moan about a kind offer that cost you not a cent, not a penny, extended to you by the only country in the world that would extend this to Afrikaners and to South Africans? And you want to whine about it 3 weeks after it was open because you haven't got a response? Your expectations of the world are wildly out of whack. It's these people that give Afrikaners a bad reputation. It's these people who give Afrikaners a black eye with their childish behavior and attacks on me. Conrad Dorfling, thank you for subscribing. The women like to smoke when I look at The Office, huh? We drink our brandy and girls like wine. I'm already sad we can't buy a home outright after looking at 2-bedroom, 3-bathroom properties in 3 different towns and states. Remax seller listings, 12 a month on credit. What are you talking about, Anne-Marie? Anime. Okay, first off, okay. Anime, you're on the channel, so I don't mean to offend you, but I'm just going to blow what you said right out of the water. How are you looking at homes that you can't buy outright? You don't even live here. You don't have a job. You don't have an income. What if you get hired at McDonald's and only make $25,000 a year? You're right, you won't be able to do it. What if you get hired by the state of Georgia to work some job and make $70,000 a year? What if you get a job in the private sector making $100,000 a year and you think that's not possible? I know Afrikaners are making good money who've come over as refugees. So, anime, I'm not attacking you personally, but I don't understand what you're talking about. I mean, of course, you only have so much text, so maybe it's out of context. But I mean, you're sad you can't buy a home outright. I can't buy a home outright. I'm not sad. What are you talking about? I don't understand that. $1,200 a month is cheap. I wish my mortgage was $1,200 a month. I just put my mortgage. By the way, here's my taxes. I live in an average middle income home, which I'll tell you is about a $300,000 home. That's what it costs. Now, 10 years later, to buy a home like that is $500,000, but $300,000, that's not much. My taxes just for the school and the township. Let me do the math on this, okay? These are my taxes I have to pay. Not income tax, not sales tax, not petrol tax, not even the per capita tax that this idiotic communist state has. 5,282.91 times times 18. My property taxes are 95,000 Rand this year. Just to live in my home. To finance a school for yahoos to go to school. And to not fix the roads that are falling apart outside my neighborhood. 95,000 Rand just for those taxes. That's what I pay. That's what I pay. You'll get the money somehow. Think about it. Yeah, you got to think outside the box. Yeah, we talked about selling things. Reading people spending cigarettes and booze and then saying they don't have money. Well, it's the same thing. You know, people, I don't have any money, but you've got DSTV. How can you afford DSTV? Sold my scooter to get all my documents. Now I'm walking to clients. You do what you have to. Thank you, FitNut Innovations. Yep. Yep. Anyway, but I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. Vernon tried selling his body. Well, that's because you're not attractive enough. I guess you have to go get a job. Good luck with that. Sold stuff that has been in my family for generations. You do what you need to, not complain, but do. I agree with you, Colonel Wyatt. I've sold things I never thought I would have to. I'm sorry to hear that, Kim, and I appreciate what you're doing. Why be rude when you get it wrong? Just take it on the chin. Hey, Colonel. Well, why run off because your feelings hurt? I mean, people hurt my feelings here, and I still come back. Never took up the habit. Yeah, Wendy, I'm glad. I don't smoke either. News report, security cluster detected potential coup risk. What? News 24. That wasn't there when I came live. Let's go to that now and see if it shows up. There it is. Oh, wow. Wow, you're right. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Thank you. That just came out. That's literally published less than an hour ago. Wow. Wow. So now they're going to they're going to use that as an excuse to crack down. That's what's coming. That's what's coming. That's what's coming. There's no coup. They're going to claim it's the Boerbog. It's the Boerbog. They've resurrected. It's the AWB. Anna sent me an email. Big Mac's 53. Yeah, no, but a hamburger's just $23.90. Some are making us look so bad, it's embarrassing. True, my wife is a car guard making money. There you go, Ruben. There you go. Yeah, you can't take all your stuff, so why are you worried about feeling sorry for yourself? You'll take precisely nowhere but to another victim. Okay, I must be understood that you are starting over. Opportunity costs. I'm getting woes now. You will more than likely never own a home U.S. Much like the people who went to Australia. Well, I don't think that's true, 1010. It depends what your skills are and depends what you got for a job. When the interest rates come down, homes will be more affordable. The interest rates by Jerome Powell is trying to destroy America by keeping it artificially high at 4.5%. That puts us on a level with the bottom quarter of countries in the world that have high rates. Most developed countries have 0.5%, 1% interest rates, and we have 4.5%. The difference between a monthly payment for interest over something that's spread out over 30 years for 1% is over $1,000 a month more in cost. If they lower that back to 2% or back to 3%, and you have good credit, you can get a 3% or 4% mortgage. Because the mortgages are higher than that. That's the prime lending rate. Mortgages are higher. People paying 6 and 7% for mortgages, and it's burying them in debt. If it went back down to 4 or 5%, which is where it should be right now for a mortgage, then a home is much more affordable because you're spreading it out over 30 years. I make extra payments every month. There's my mortgage statement right here. I just got it in the mail because when I make the payment, it comes in, and I'm paying 3.75% interest. The prime lending rate is already a whole point higher than that right now. Yeah. So yeah. And this, so I'm paying on this every month, but the amount of principal is going up every month until 18 months ago or a year ago. The amount of principal was less than the amount of interest I paid every month. Now I'm paying $135 more in principal every month. So about $1,500 more whittling down the loan per year than I was a year ago, just by making my payments. And every month it goes up by a little bit, but I make extra payments that I can, when I can afford it, to lower it even quicker. So I'm paying less interest. Yeah. But yeah, so that's my mortgage. But people can own homes. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but we can't make any such predictions. We don't know what your skills are. We don't know where you're going to live. We don't know what jobs you get offered. We don't know if you're even suitable. I mean, what if you're a terrible employee and you get sacked? Okay. Where there's a will, there's a way. Sold my second-hand clothes to buy milk for my child while employed. Okay, thank you, Sinkmaster. Okay. Absolutely right, Colonel. It's just another attention seeker. In fact, actual fact, these people don't want to stop beast, and they're moaning to stay in South Africa. Exactly. Jozar, $5 to all South Africans. Please do your freaking research before making any other comments on this channel. Exactly. Pete Lundy says, "Cock, Chris, you can't buy a takeaway bird for under 80 in South Africa. 2 raw patties will cost you 80. Next, compare your salary to convert." Okay, I don't know what you're talking about there, Pete. I just showed you. I searched on the internet. It costs 23 Rand 90 for a hamburger at McDonald's. And what are you talking about 2 patties? Hamburgers don't have 2 patties. They have 1. I compared the cost of a hamburger in South Africa and a hamburger in America. How is that crap? It's a statement of fact. But I don't understand what you're getting at, Pete. You're calling me a liar? You're saying that's nonsense? I looked it up. $23.90 for a hamburger. I was just in South Africa, and I don't recall what I paid, but I could get my credit card receipts. Yeah, $23.90 is what it costs for a hamburger in Joburg at McDonald's. A hamburger here was $1.99 last night. The exchange rate, as it sits now at about 18 to 1, makes that $1.26 for a hamburger in South Africa, and it's $1.99 here. What's cock about that? I didn't say a hamburger at Thundergun. I didn't say a hamburger, a 2-patty hamburger. What are you getting at, Pete? That doesn't make any sense. No, you're not an immigrant if you're a refugee. Very different. Immigrants have different legal status than refugees, and they don't get free money. Sorry, Schoolman, thank you for 140 Rand. Lucina, thank you for 10 pounds. I think people always understand that the USA don't have to help us. Exactly. I don't know why people think we owe anybody anything. We don't owe anybody anything. What are you giving us? What are you giving us other than grief? Julia says, apologies, but what is the vetting time frame for U.S.? Now, there's our fingerprints went the embassy beginning. Well, good. Juliet, it can go anywhere from a couple weeks to a few months. Depends what your background looks like. It depends how many they have in the flow. I can't give you an estimation. If it was a normal time and it was just normal vetting for background checks for employment, we could tell you it usually takes a couple weeks. But in this case, we don't know. There might be 70,000 people, and they've maybe got thousands of people checking in there. What I can tell you is that people who have gone through the process you're going through have had a pretty quick turnaround on it. So it could be up to a couple months. So, that's all I can tell you, Juliet. Thank you for asking. Okay. I'm going to get back to the Inchivani story in just a second here. Make and be irreplaceable and true in everything you do. Everything else is white noise. Thank you, Bam. Thanks, Colonel, for explaining about the mortgage. So there is a chance. Of course there's a chance, 1010. Guys, see, this is the problem with you all not understanding the situation. Look, I will not sit here and pretend to understand what it's like to buy a house in South Africa. If I buy a house in South Africa, it's most likely going to have to be with cash because I don't have a credit rating there. I don't have a bond there. I don't know how it works. I don't know how your mortgages work. I'm not even remotely an expert on that. I could check into it, but I'm offering you no advice. But what I can tell you is that you can't apply your understanding of mortgages in South Africa or banking in South Africa to America. It's not the same. You can apply it similarly, maybe UK and US because they're similar, but they're still not quite the same. Our systems are interchangeable. I can write a check in the UK to a business. It'll be cashed on a US banking checking account. It works that way as long as they accept the check, which they do. So, it depends where you're at. Look, this house now supposedly is worth $500,000. It's not. It's not. That's what the real estate agents tell people so that they can buy. But I paid $300,000 for it. Okay. All right. I borrowed $300,000 for it. So I can find a house right now for $60,000 or $80,000, built in the 50s and 60s, small, 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom. I can find those all over the place. I'm not living in that. Depends what you want, folks. This is an average house. I would like a palatial mansion like the people that 3 or 4 kilometers from me have, just over a different hill down in the valley in a lovely little setting. These people have $1 million homes. I would love to live there. 8,000 square feet, pools, bars, massive kitchens, 5 bedrooms. I'd love that. I can't afford that. So I get what I can afford. And this place I could afford when I got it, because my Army housing allowance covered a fair portion of the mortgage and only a bit came out of my pocket. I didn't plan on staying in Pennsylvania. I didn't plan on living here long term. This is a shock to me. I planned on living in Aschau im Chiemgau in Bavaria or living near Wellington, New Zealand. That was my plan. But New Zealand is a fascist country. I can't live there now. And Germany's become a fascist country too, overrun by criminals and aliens who are trying to impose Sharia law and rape German girls. I'm not interested in that. So I'm here in Pennsylvania, and I like Wyoming. But the place I want to live in Wyoming, the houses cost a lot more than this. So I'm going to have to make a bunch of money or figure out a way to get there. So anyway, it's all doable, folks. People need to quit acing themselves out of stuff. Everything is possible in America. Everything is possible. Elon Musk wasn't a billionaire. He wasn't a millionaire when he came. Well, he already had money because of PayPal, but he wasn't that wealthy. You're welcome, Louise. Okay. Janine says, way too much cleaning spaces. Well, I just let the dust pile up and then every couple months run a Hoover over it. Yeah, dollars can buy a great house. I've got one in mind, but I mean, I may have to pay cash because I don't know how your system works. In 6 months, she's a nurse, the husband's handyman. Yeah, if you earn and save, you can't compare South Africa to U.S. Charles, again, I went on the internet and I looked, and that was the price listed. Okay, but okay, let's go with $32.90. You're actually making my argument even stronger, Charles. So if it's $32.90 instead of $23, $32.90 divided by 18, that makes it $1.82. So $1.82 for a hamburger, and it's $1.99 here. So the difference in our economies isn't 2 to 1, it's almost 1 to 1. And I'm paying 5.5 times as much for my passport. What does a South African pay? So how is that support Napoleon Dynamite's argument? It doesn't. All right, okay, back. This one's important. Security cluster. Let's get into this. And I'm going to do a video on this as soon as we're done. I'm going to make a phone call, then I'm going to do something on this. All right, so hang on a second here. There it is. Oh, that's not the one I want. I want this one. Here we go. All right. Security cluster detect a potential coup risk, but South Africa, not a potential coup, but coup risk. All right, see, that's an important statement. Let's read what the story says, but coup risk. In other words, the government's vulnerable. Not a potential coup. That's very different. Okay. Welcome, Joe Kruger. Minister in the presidency, Kumbutsu Ntshavheni. This would be the cackling hyena who laughed when Kill the Boer was playing in the White House on the video screen, assured South Africans of their safety despite potential coup risk, with measures already in place to mitigate the threats. In a shocking revelation Tuesday afternoon, Minister in the presidency, Kumbutsu Ntshavheni, revealed that the security cluster had identified potential risk of a coup d'etat. There is a potential risk of a coup d'etat. We've identified it and put measures in place to mitigate against it. So that's why we say, South Africans, there will not be anyone attempting to do a coup in South Africa. In the last few days or in the last few weeks, there has not been anyone attempting to do a coup. This is just nonsense. Okay, so basically what she said is that we've identified that we have a weakness in our government that could cause a coup, but we've not identified any coups. This is a minister in South Africa? What the hell? Wow. On the political parties that are protesting, I don't know why they're protesting, because one thing I know is that General Mkhwanazi does not need anyone's protection. We need to understand that decision. Really? He doesn't need anyone's protection? Do you live in South Africa? Please, somebody tell that to Babita Deokaran or Angela Agrizi. Please tell them that you don't need protection. Unbelievable. Wow. Wow. She says if he doesn't follow due process, then he didn't follow due process. Under South African law, he has to suspend them when accused of corruption and reassign them. But he's given them a leave of absence, a paid holiday. So he's not following the law. This is a nothing burger. There's no coup in South Africa. There's no attempted coup. This is just the ANC trying to play the victim here. This is victimhood. This is victim politics. Just like the Boermog. Do you know where there were more government agents in the Boermog than there were actually Boermog members? They let themselves be set up. State witness withdrew his testimony in the Liebenberg case because the state can't protect him. Wow, so Louis Liebenberg's going to get out of jail? 25 minutes ago, an X after National Congress Secretary General Fikile confirmed that Police Minister Mkhunu failed to appear before the party's Integrity Commission. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Well, there you go. What does that tell you? Fikile Mabulula. Let's check him out. Okay. There's too many videos here. It doesn't say. I don't know how you see that. There's like a dozen things here. He's got half a dozen videos from the same speech, so I don't know what to go with there. So how can you identify a coup when the intelligence agency head was accused of wrongdoing? Well, the people under him aren't. I'm not too worried about a house. We even live in a camper. Hamburger subject ain't helping. Why, are you hungry? I'm starving. Electronics are way cheaper in the US. You can literally buy an iPhone for cash in the USA. South Africa, you have to take 3-year contract. Well, let's put this in perspective, okay? Let's put this in perspective. Let's try to find a similar thing that you can't find. Let's just do this. BMW X3 cost in South Africa. Okay. Okay. 799,000. That's new. Is it new? A new one. 1,047,000 rand. Okay. Okay. All right. BMW X3 cost in USA. Okay. Can we get the X3 here? Okay. All right. Here they start at $46,000. Okay. Let's see what that is in rand. Okay. So 46,900 times 18 is 844,000 rand. So we pay 844,000 rand. You pay 1,046,000 rand. That's 200,000 rand more for the same car in South Africa that's built in South Africa that we pay in America. 200,000 rand. So 200,000 rand divided by 18 means you're paying $11,000 more for the same car in South Africa in dollar terms than we pay for it here because we have volume. Okay? $11,000 more on a $46,000 car. $11,000 more. They're probably only making $11,000 on our side, so they're doubling it off you. Okay, so you're going to say you can't compare things. But here's the deal. So you're going to say, but Chris, because you're not including the value-added tax. Correct, because we don't have a value-added tax. I will include a 6% sales tax here. So 46,900 times 0.06 equals, well, that's wrong. 46,900 times 0.06. Is that right? That's not right. Oh, it's $2,800. So that makes it a $49,000 car. Still cheaper by about $8,000, by $8,000 more than what you pay there. Why? Because we sell volume. Computers. I just bought a computer for $187. These little cube PCs that are being sold, $187. A Pentium chip in here, 2 HDMI connections back here, USB 3s over here, 1 terabyte hard drive in here. Buying an external 1 terabyte hard drive runs $130 to $230 right now. This has all of that, probably Chinese subsidized, $187. You can't buy this for $187 in South Africa. Convert it to rand, convert it to dollars, whatever you want to use. You can't buy this. You can't touch that in South Africa for that price. We have volume here. So, you just can't just compare things. People get themselves wrapped around the head. The way you compare it, Charles, is what it takes out of your pocket, what percentage of your pocket comes out. The percentage that comes out of my pocket in South Africa when I buy a burger is a lot cheaper than when I buy one here, but I'm paid in dollars. That's why it's a benefit for me. IOL said that. Okay, let's see what IOL says. Let me go to IOL. I'm sorry, I missed that part where you said IOL. My apologies for that. Okay. Yeah, there it is. Yep. So I went to his X account. His X account's confusing. Okay, got it. ANC Secretary General confirmed that Police Minister Senzo Mkhunu failed to appear before the party's Integrity Commission despite accusations made against him. Told journalists that a meeting was planned, but he excused himself and sent an apology. We were in fact expecting him to attend the meeting yesterday, and he gave me an apology and told him that I need to sit down with him. His absence of leave, we are not affected by it as ANC. Well, there you go. Excuse me just a second here. my air conditioning heating unit has been leaking, and so that was the air conditioning heating people. I called them yesterday based on a recommendation. In a driving rainstorm, my colleagues have said, do you know a good, because I don't want someone that's going to come here and says, oh, your system is 10 years old, you have to replace it, $5,000. No, I want someone that's going to come and look at it, and I can count on it's honest. And I don't know the people in this area that do that sort of thing. So they gave a recommendation. I called them yesterday, and they said, well, we're pretty busy. We don't have anybody. We'll write it down. We'll get to you as soon as we can. It can be a day. It could be a week. Well, that was yesterday, and now they're calling me today. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so where are we at here? You think a coup is a substitute for potential violence? No, I think a coup is just an effort to distract. People must remember that although South African passport's cheap, you must still get visas for that. Tunis, that is correct. But in this case, we're not talking about it. The whole context of this Tunis stand is nothing to do with traveling to Ireland, nothing to do with traveling to the UK or to Japan or to Australia. This is for people that want to come to the United States as refugees. You are not going to have to get a visa. It will cost you nothing to come to the United States as a refugee. Nothing. All you have to do is you have to have a passport, among other requirements, but you have to have a passport, and that's what this whole argument stems from. We have people that are moaning, well, I can't afford this, Trump doesn't care. So now you expect us to give you money to get a passport to come to America? No. So the whole point of the argument was that it's inexpensive compared to what an American pays for a passport. I pay 5.5 times what you pay in dollar terms, and in percentage of my income that's taken away, that's a different argument. But my income is different than the person that works at the club. My income is different than the person who runs a business. So, it's all relative. That was the point that Napoleon Dynamite was trying to make, but did it inartfully. You think a coup is a substitute? Okay, no, I already read that. Okay. Service on the ball. Yeah. Ingrid's. It's $79 for the call. So I'm not happy about paying $79, but it's going to cost me $79 just for him to show up here, even if he does no work. So that's 18. So that's going to cost me 1,500 Rand because my air conditioner is leaking. He's coming now. He'll be here in 30 minutes. 35 years at Boeing at my MIT, my salary was $12,000 a month. Pretty average for this area. $12,000 a month. $12,000 a month? Wow. That's not bad. That's not bad. Okay, so what you made per month. Hey, Dogzilla, good to see you there again. $12,000. I didn't know you worked at Boeing. Thank you for sharing. So are you in Everett? Are you in Everett, Washington? Times 18. So per month, you're making 216,000 Rand per month. So people are coming here saying they'll never be able to buy a house. Now, to be fair, you were at Boeing 35 years. I don't know how many years it took to reach that level, but my point is that you're making over 200,000 Rand per month. People can afford homes. It'll be okay, folks. Just take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. Yep. Well, I think this is Chinese junk. I think that's Chinese, to be honest. But I needed to test this out for a veterans thing, so I bought one to test it out and see how it goes. It's got Windows 11 on it, so, look at that. Fits in your hand. A Pentium chip. Wow. I think it's got 16 gig of RAM, if I'm not mistaken. And it's got 1 terabyte hard drive. That's insane for $187. Yep, Everett, that's what I thought. Hit the ANC soon. History repeats itself. Yep, there's a golden opportunity to get to USA. Have you all the opportunity in the world to create a new life you want from scratch? Exactly. A friend was built me a PC like that. I'll get it when I arrive. Cool. That's awesome, Freya. Yeah, no, this is dirt cheap. I mean, I've never paid less than about $800 for a PC before. So we'll just try it out. It's pretty cool. So we'll see how it works. It's amazing what technology can do. Anyway, this gaming machine cost me $2,200. Except their beds and what we absolutely need to live, says Dawn. Okay. So mechanical job in USA, $165,000. Ian, HVAC technicians like this guy coming can make anywhere from $80,000 starting out to $200,000 or more per year. If they own their business, a lot of them make more than that. Anyway, yeah, pension would convert to $669 a month, which is not much money here, Ingrid. Not much money at all. $669 is not much money. My utilities cost more than that. My utilities. My cable's $302 a month. My mobile phone's $106 a month. So that's $408 right there. My gas it fluctuates. My electricity is $100 a month. So that's $500 right there. My gas fluctuates. So we'll say $100 a month on average, because sometimes it's more, sometimes it's $18. So that's $600 right there just for my utilities. I haven't even included my rubbish removal, which runs about $60 a month. So now I'm beyond your $669. And then, of course, my water bill, which is getting more pricey. So my utilities cost more per month than your pension translates here. So But you're not going to find a job that pays you $600 a month. That's ludicrous. You're going to find jobs that pay a lot more than that. People in South Africa, if you do not bring change, change will not come. Got my new Galaxy Buds today. Your music sounds awesome. Well, thank you, Utopia. That's cool. ANC forgot what happened. Unrest in KZN. If I think MK really wants, they can paralyze ANC. I think you're right about that. Would you say an electrician is good? It's a fantastic profession, Evan. It's a fantastic profession. It pays quite well. Let me see if I can find electrician jobs around here, okay? Electrician jobs near me. I'll just say that, okay? All right. Journeyman electrician, $28 to $40 an hour. So starting out here, $23 to $38 an hour. So let's just go with that. We'll go with the mid-range, $48. So we'll go with $38. So 28 to 48. So we'll say $38 per hour is what an average electrician is getting around here. 38 times 40 hours per week equals $1,500 a month before taxes times 4 weeks. That's $6,000 a month before taxes, which will take out a portion of that. But that's without any overtime. Overtime is time and a half or double time. And now under Trump's new law, there'll be no taxes on the overtime. So these guys are going to want to work overtime. So that's an average. Now that times 18. So an electrician, average electrician is making $109,000. Or excuse me, 109,000 Rand per month where I live at. But it doesn't, we don't get paid Rand. So, it's not germane. But the point is, yeah. So people just need to chill and relax. Yeah, you get charged for everything in the UK. You're right about that, Nuba. You're right about that. You get charged council taxes. You get charged all these other things. And then they charge you, if you want a copy of something, you got to pay for it. You want a document, you got to pay for it. Yeah, it's just a ripoff. It's because they're funding millions of criminal alien invaders who are overthrowing the country and imposing Sharia law in Luton, in Leicester, in London East. It's insane. Everybody here, thank you. Thank you, Andre Mostart. Heading home from the garden, says Shawnee, okay? Okay. Yeah, McDonald's does pay better than you made in SAPS. You're right about that, Fabian. $20 an hour? Yep. UK does sound like South Africa, Raven. You're right. Why do Americans mostly talk about salary per year? Here in South Africa, we only talk about salary per month. Just something I noticed. Well, Nep, it's a fair question. Let me explain. Okay, so professionals, white-collar people, talk about salary they're going to make per year. People working, labor or working blue-collar jobs typically don't talk about it. They typically talk about what they make per hour. When I worked at UPS, I was worried about the $9 I made per hour. That's what I was focused on, not my annual salary, because I was working based on the hour. But salaried employees don't get paid by the hour. They get paid by the pay period by the year. So that's why. So I'm a white-collar worker. I've been a labor. I've been a blue-collar worker for decades. But that's why I don't focus on the hourly wage. Does that make sense? Okay. Exams to convert to local code. Mark, you're right about that. That's possible. I bought my Hubby and i7 laptop refurbished. That sounds like a good deal, Troy, or Helen Troy. Okay. Did you know that the Department of Communications released a new draft white paper on audio? I've heard about it, but I haven't seen that, Miss V. Thank you for that. Open for the public. Yeah, so let me make a note of that here before that disappears. Thank you for that, Miss V. Yeah, I needed to comment on that. To me, what's going on there is this is an effort to silence speech. That's what's going on. That's my initial take on that, okay, if that helps. Okay, hang on a second. I still got Bidvest notes here. Okay, thank you, Legion, for the 40 Rand. Bad Kitty wanted to jump behind the TV and switched off. She's now on her dad. Oh, sorry, Julie. Cats. Rion is laughing. What are you laughing about? Are you way behind? James Walkinshaw, my friend, walked in last year on an H-2B visa, and he was able to send $130,000, and he still lived there. Yeah, there you go, James. 120,000 Rand a month on a visa, and he sent that home. Wow. Yeah, there you go. So, anyway. All right, time to go, guys. Time to go. We've been at this for 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I've got a HVAC technician coming here in a few minutes. All right, thanks for tuning in. I will make a video about the coup here shortly. Okay, I'm millwright, but I've never been employed as one. Opened my own business 10 years ago. The idea, no money. Okay, I'm aware my merger pension is way too small to make a living. Gotcha. Thank you, Ingrid. No, Ingrid, I wasn't targeting you. I was explaining to you for the audience what was going on. Thank you. Okay, you guys take care. Have a good night, and thanks for being here. Be sure to hit the like button. We got 904 likes. Didn't quite get to 1,000. Can we get that to 1,000, guys? Cheers. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Hope everybody enjoyed the conversation. Gregory Stroud, you never came back to talk about the U.S. news. You just wanted to troll in there.